Alrighty. And we're live.
Oh,
You good, fam? Alright. Alright. Alright guys, welcome to the Hot Button Podcast, episode number 3. Getting a little bit more comfortable with it. I can hear you, dude. Don't Damn. You alright? You alright, fam?
mm.
You okay? Everyone alright?
You good?
All right, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you the whole time.
All right. A little awkward start there, but okay. This is Let's start this back from the top. This is the Hot Button Podcast number 3. My name is Black Sage D here. Known provocateur, shit poster, something, but yeah. So I want to introduce my guests here. Lunar Nocturne and Mineral Garbage. You guys introduce yourselves.
I am a mineral garbage. I'm an artist, provocateur, I guess. My opinions are my own. And if you need a backup on unpopular opinions, I.
Okay. Lunar. Yeah. So I wanna. Lunar. Lunar Nocturne and Mineral Garbage. You guys introduce yourselves. Lunar. Okay, well, we wait on Luna to get started. We're just gonna get started. Um, yeah. So today I just want to talk about real quick about game of the decade. Xbox first party lineup and Sony not attending E3 2020. So yeah, I just want to get y'all opinions on it. What y'all think about it? Yeah. Hold on. We got D3 Bug in the house. What's good? What's good?
Oh,
Bro?
nice. Nice.
It's Monday night, so
Yeah. Hate those.
school is
All
long.
right, D3 Bug. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay,
Yeah,
I got
so
you.
D3 Bug Day. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, nice and sweet and short. Lunar. Okay, I can hear you now, bro. What's good? What's good? Damn, Lunar taking L's left and right. All right. All right.
Powers in Discord.
Yeah. So all right. So you guys want to give your opinion on your game of the decade?
Like, what my personal game of the decade is?
Yeah, your top 10 or your personal game of the decade.
Can't say I've played that many games this year. But the ones that I have played, I would have to say just because the unwavering bias that I have for the Tekken franchise, I would have to say Tekken 7.
Oh, Tekken 7? I never really
Yeah,
got
yeah.
I never really got to play that game.
Well, no, that's a lie. I actually think Tag 2 was the game of the decade. I don't know when it came out specifically, but I was playing it during the early part of the decade. So I personally think that was like the best of the decade for me, just because of all the tournaments, the whole sphere that got to go on with it. That's just my personal opinion, and granted, I haven't played as many games this decade.
Oh, you haven't? Yeah, I know a lot of
Yeah, I
people.
haven't really been able to get into.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who didn't get to play games this whole decade. So you're not alone about that. For me, pretty much I've been putting myself. I know how to make a life balance between work and playing video games. And I pretty much got a good flow going on. I don't know how that's gonna change in the upcoming decade. I expect to do more work, but yeah, one thing that'll never change is with me, just gaming. So one thing will never change is me playing video games. And yeah, I just man, I don't know. It's like I know I went through a lot of days without playing video games, but I don't know. Anybody else had those days when they go weeks without playing video games?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just getting
recovered
back.
off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's just like when you become an adult, you have those on again, off again periods. You know,
Yeah.
it's like when you come back to work. You know, you probably might play like 4 hours a day, or if you're lucky, you play like 2 hours a day, and then you just kind of just say, "Fuck it, I'm just not. I just don't feel like it."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, D3 Bug, what's your favorite game of the year? I mean, decade.
I'd probably have to go with Soul series, Dark Souls.
Ah, Dark Souls.
Maybe the first one. I've played the remastered, and it was really fun. I've also seen I haven't really played Bloodborne or Sekiro.
Oh yeah, I pretty much got all the Souls
Those look
games.
good.
I got them too.
Yeah, I pretty much got like pretty much all the Souls. I'm talking about even like Bloodborne and Sekiro, and I even got the first Dark Souls on the PC with mods. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead, Lunar.
Yo, so sorry, for all the technical difficulties. Well, anyway, I have to say that my favorite game of the decade has to be a 3DS title by Atlas called Devil Survivor 2.
Oh, Devil Survivor 2. I never really got to play any of the Devil Survivor games on 3DS. You know, I was pretty much my gaming platform was pretty much the PlayStation all this time,
Yeah.
so I didn't really get a chance to get all that many handheld games.
I've been carrying handhelds ever since I started high school because just something to play in between classes when the teacher's not looking. But anyway,
Yeah.
Devil Survivor. Devil Survivor 2, it's one of my favorite games. Well, the whole Devil Survivor, both games are my favorites because it's this genius blend of tactical role-playing and turn-based role-playing games. And it's also got this story that's I said Final Fantasy. That's a mix of Final Destination and Death Notes, and I don't know how else to describe it. It's crazy.
Yeah, but
So
Atlas games are pretty much like the punk rock of like JRPGs.
they are. Like this shit, like sounds like all right. So the plot is, without giving away too much, is that these teenagers, at least in Devil Survivor 2, is that they get a video on their phone sent to them, and it says, "Yo, check this out," and it shows a video of their friend dying, and it's up to you to save that friend within a certain amount of time. And if you don't save them, it can change the story.
Oh, okay. So it's so you if you don't say the friend, the game's not automatically over.
No, it's not automatically over. They'll still let you go through with it.
Oh shit. All right, I like that type of thing where you gotta
But
do something in a certain time limit. All right. As for me, my favorite games are pretty much a 5-way tie, pretty much. Yeah. So number one would have to be at least Titanfall 2 because I like
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely because it's the fact that you get to. I mean, there's not that many games that you get to play as a giant robot, and you. Right, there's very few games that do mech combat well, and part of the reason why I like Titanfall is that it's fast paced, it's very quick, there's a lot of verticality in the game. The game runs and looks beautiful, and it's I'm sorry, this is just my most multiplayer game of the year, man. It's like. I was very excited for like Titanfall 2, and they got all the customization options and stuff. So I'm sorry, I don't have any words to describe that game. Pretty much, it's just awesome.
I know, and Titanfall 1, as mixed reception as it got, it did have somewhat of an influence on other mainstream first-person shooters, mostly with the mobility of how characters move, with like wall running, jumping off walls, grapple hooks and shit.
Yeah, that game pretty much like spoiled first-person shooters for me for all time.
Yes.
So I was like, I every time I play a first-person shooter, I expect just jump on the wall, expecting to just go to one place and the next being Tarzan. Yeah.
That's why I've been playing as that grappling hook class. I forgot the name of it. And Timefall too.
Yeah. So my second game would have to be Bloodborne, pretty much. It's just the fact that it's just so it's just so fast paced and it's so like dark. You know, I like dark games. You know, I like
we-
Yeah, I've seen.
Hmm?
I saw the gameplay of it, and I really liked the Lovecraft theme. I think I would have
Oh, yeah.
bought probably
Yeah.
Bloodborne if I didn't buy a Switch. That was gonna be the first game I'd buy for a PS4.
Oh, you got a PS4?
No, I was planning to get one halfway through the summer job. Someone convinced me to get a Switch, but Bloodborne was on my radar for like the longest time.
Yeah, Bloodborne is pretty much what, $19 now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
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 so if you ever
Yeah,
want to get,
Bloodborne was released during a time when I'd say both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 were in it like this sort of drought, if you will.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I picked it up pretty much a month after launch. I think the month of launch.
Uh,
Yeah, and
That's all.
it pretty much hooked me all the way through. It's pretty much one of the first Souls games that I actually completed.
I'm ashamed to say, but I've never beaten any Souls game. Like I'll get very far in it and into it, and then yeah, just be done.
Yeah. What you about to say, Mineral?
I won't say nothing. I'm just listening.
Oh.
Unfortunately, because I have not played many games, so I'm just listening to all the games that I wanted to play but didn't get to.
Oh boy. All right. And my third game is pretty much gonna be Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Yes, and that game had every reason to be at the forefront. I mean, to win Game of the Year at
Exactly.
the Game Awards. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sekiro, I like it because it's actually more fast paced than Dark Souls and Bloodborne combined, and it's the fact that you got all this verticality around it. And it's pretty much
Definitely.
it's like it's more fast paced than ever before. So I like at first it was pretty much pissing me off because I tried to just do everything I can to just block, 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 dodge, 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 and it wasn't until like Lady Butterfly that it finally like clicked for me. You know, that fight with Lady Butterfly, it just clicked for me, and I was just basically just I'm just in love with that game. Like it's definitely one of my favorite games of 2019 for sure. And I didn't really think it was going to win any awards, to be honest with you.
Same here. And I remember it started sparking. Like the game got so hot that it started sparking discussion on what makes a game difficult and how far should we go in terms of difficulty when it comes to games.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I remember that bullshit, man. I got into
I know.
I got into a lot of
The
Twitter.
game journalists were complaining about the
It
fact they
was
couldn't beat
wild.
the game, and
I
it's
think
like
Look.
that and Cuphead.
I'm no stranger to game journalists coming at my head, bro. As you can see with my Last of Us post. And, and I always find it that these people act like such pussies when it comes to like video games. It's like, dude, it's a video game. Like, it ain't that deep. It's like if you're not good at it, it's not a personal attack on you. You're just not good at it.
It just happens,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can't ball. I can't ball ever, man. And I've come to accept that I can't play basketball, but I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
Right. And
yeah, that's true.
yeah,
And I understand to a degree, like, if you're a game journalist, there's this expectation, which was a lot of debate, especially with the whole Cuphead and the
Oh
Sekiro
yeah.
controversy, where people were like, should you be a game journalist if you can't play the game? Does that reflect how well you report on the game if you can't win the game? Which I feel like, as a game journalist, you should be like any other journalist. You should be impartial to the facts. Play them, say what the mechanics are, give it a way that is nuanced and balanced, and not say,
Yes.
oh, because I lost this game, I think it's trash.
right.
It's like, that's not how this works. Like,
If a game is legit trash, just say that. But it's like if the game is too hard, it's like here's the thing: if Demon Souls came out today, and that's pretty much,
Or
yeah, if Demon Souls came out today, the Souls games would have never gotten popular. I used to remember like game journalists basically like I remember game journalists basically calling the challenge for people to beat this game. It's like without it, if it wasn't for game journalists back then, that game would not have been popular. Yeah,
Oh man.
so yeah, it definitely pisses me off with the current crop of game journalists these days, man. These dudes. And you know what else? Hold on, because I'm about to link you this article right here.
All right. Yeah, is it in general?
Yeah, this yeah, hold on. It's in the general chat. Hold on. All right. Shoot. Yeah, it's this Kotaku article about
Kotaku.
yeah. Don't worry, it's
Dente.
archived. Don't worry, it's archived, so you ain't gotta get no clicks.
Dente, I can't. Huh? Who's this?
Yeah. So basically, it's this article by this dude named Joshua Rivera, and he pretty much is talking about there are a lot of reasons not to write about video games. For most of my career, I've written for mainstream publications on concern with the game industry. I was offered a job at Kotaku because I figured out a way to do games criticism outside the sphere of games journalism. I really had an editor that understood what I was talking about, and most of their bosses did not consider games an essential area of coverage. He goes on to basically whine about how video games are trivial, pretty much. You can read the whole thing by yourself.
All
That's
right.
just a complete cringe right here.
Oh man.
Yeah, and you know what the standout part about this is? Do you know this article is and I quote, "Do you not know there are many reasons not to write about video games? The obvious ones are practical. There are no jobs, there is no money, and with few opportunities that are mostly circulate around the same set of people who have been doing it for a long time, and many of them are friends. But there are others who are occupational hazards, and often hostile set of commenters and internet trolls, and a small contingent of content creators dedicated to stoking that hostility, and an industry culture entrenched in white masculinity that is more likely to chase away diverse voices that is welcome to." Dude, it's a.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, because I was.
This is the type of stuff that I'm really tired of, especially since when I really started gaming around the teen space, most of us were black. So a lot of what's being said, and I've heard this time and time again, it's frustrating because the games were the only way I could make friends, around 5th and 6th grade.
Join the club, bro.
Mhm.
Join the club.
So this kind of, I don't know
It's
who
just
grows up thinking this.
it's just a bunch of white liberals acting like a bunch of white saviors. You know?
Like, it really annoys me how the climate of gaming culture, because I used to be like hardcore gamer, like pre 2010s. I was like hardcore gaming into all the games, like all of especially in the FGC, like. And people would be like, they pretend like, oh, women don't have a voice, or black people or minorities don't have a voice. And it's like, dude,
And hold on.
black folks and minorities were running these tournaments. They were running these gaming communities.
Yeah.
Like,
if it wasn't for if it wasn't for black people, pretty much it's like the fighting game community would not have existed. Period.
No, and like,
Period.
I know my family and we grew up on Tekken, man. Every
Right.
Tekken fan,
Yes.
every
Tekken.
Tekken fan I do is black.
Right.
like
Oh,
it annoys me how people project this false sense of like, like, especially for women. Like, I'm a girl and I was in like the FGC for like a couple of good years when I started doing tournaments, and I was like, people were expecting me to be like this. They either expected me to be like this super dainty girl who's like, oh, don't worry, I'll make sure that the boys let you play. And I'm like, dude, the fuck, I can speak for myself if I'm not getting playtime. Like, and then or either they would assume that you're sleeping with all the players. And it's like, no, they're definitely, like, they couldn't grasp the fact that, like, there are girls in this community that actually can win, succeed, like do, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you
Hey,
must feel so left out and excluded in this community." It's like,
hey,
no. And then they try to project gamers like this whole like PewDiePie moment when he played PUBG, like, "Oh, they all just say the N word and they all just do this," and it's like, no. Most of the black people in the gaming community do it too. Like, this isn't just a white man's world. Like,
yeah,
chill.
yeah. So, so pretty much, I, f- w- first of all, everybody in here is black, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I seem to I seem to have this understanding that these game journalists who are mostly white, who are going to sit there and lecture us about how to behave and how to act, and I'm like, the gaming community is cut from a different cloth here. It's not like, these teenagers listening to music, or the makeup community or anything like that. Like, gaming community is cut from a different cloth. We're all pretty much a bunch of edge lords here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I it's like that's never gonna change, regardless of how much these social justice warriors want to talk about. It's never going to change. I can sit here and talk. The main reason why I showed my face over here, because I was tired of pretty much, all these game journalists all these HAWs talking about, oh well, you're just a drawn picture, you're just an anime profile.
Anime
You're
AVI or
you're
whatever.
you're you're, you're, you're
Like,
yeah, exactly.
does that make sense?
You're you're an anonymous troll, and I got sick of it. So I showed my face just to show you, like, dude, I really am black, and I really am sick and tired of this shit too. It's like, you don't speak for us, you don't help us out, so you're just virtue signaling. Oh, let me stop right there, because this is supposed to be a fun podcast. So, yeah. So
No, but I mean, if we don't talk about it, then they just keep talking over us. Like, they consistently will tell us, like, "Hey, you're black. You are like they'll listen to like the handful of loud, radical, barely gamer black folks who
yeah, well,
want to get those woke points,
mo-
and then they just kind of morph in and say, "Hey guys, you need saving. I'm gonna save you." They like white knight when they don't need to, and it's like, chill, dude. If I need
right,
you, I'll call.
right. It's like, and most of us can handle ourselves, because most of the black people that I know they don't have time to do all this woke shit. Like, we know that racism exists. We know that
Yeah.
discrimination exists. We know all that. We pretty much encounter that shit on a daily basis, and we got way more important things to worry about than what some asshole said online over a video game stream. It's like, we I don't need my media to be bogged down by this woke shit. I just want to have a good time. And I find it funny that these game journalists, they don't come onto these streams and they don't debate, the actual gaming populace. They sit in their ivory towers. They talk about all. They just talk behind our backs, in front of our backs, and just they talk over us. They talk down to us, and it's like, there's no wonder why these people are basically, they're being mocked now. It's like, you get people like, and I don't know how many people feel about him, but the Quartering, Angry Joe, Young Yeah, all these other dudes. It's like they don't, like, they talk to us. They talk to the gaming community. It's like they don't really talk down to anybody, and that's the future of game journalism going forward. We don't need they used to be like. Has anybody seen on Twitter my debate with this Dan Stapleton dude?
Yes.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, so basically the rundown is this. I'm basically talking to this dude about The Last of Us, because he responded to my Last of Us post, right? And I went on there and I told him, hey, if you that outraged about something, why don't you talk about Sony's censorship policy? Which he goes on a like long diatribe defending this, saying, oh, Sony's platform, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to sell this game. And that's the shit what I'm talking about. I can't put it exactly into words, but these people do not speak for us anymore. They haven't spoke for the gaming community for a long time.
They're more about the public image of the gaming community versus what the people actually want. Like that I hate using this meme to death, but that meme where the guy is talking in the interview and saying, "Don't ask questions, just consume products." Like
Right.
basically
Right.
that.
And you're gonna discover that most of these people are not real gamers.
hmm
Right.
They're like failed. They
No.
they talk and act like they wanted to get into a mainstream media job,
No.
but it's like they didn't make the cut, so then they just infect the gaming world and
No.
muddy it up.
No. D3. They are failed journalists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like most of these, like, most of these people, like you go on their timelines, right? And you see nothing but political shit left and right. It's like they talk about
Yep.
Trump, they talk about, Orange Man Bad, they talk about Republicans, all this shit. It's like, bro, you're a game journalist. Okay, talk about video games, share gaming memes, do fun shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear any more about your politics, man. It's like, and they all share the same politics too. You ever
Yeah,
notice
the
that?
cutter.
You know how they keep treating Colin Moriarty just because he dared to not say Orange Man Bad. They pretty much chased this dude out the industry.
That's what they do. Like they'll let you say whatever. It's like a prime example is like Azalea Banks. Like this bitch ran Twitter. Like she ran Twitter just saying all sorts of slurs, calling people all sorts of names and being
Oh
racist. But she
man.
was fine as long as she was on the left side and hated Batman. As soon as she started supporting Trump, bruh, they axed her so quick. Like I'm just like,
Oh boy.
what world are we living in?
That's why. And I just wanted to say that pretty much back in 2018, this happened recently. That I took the red pill. I was what you would call a social justice warrior. I was a Orange Man Bad type of guy. I was pretty much a guy who pretty much was all about, hey, that's cool, diversity and inclusion and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm still about that life, but it's like I took the red pills because these people are insane, and now it's affecting the stuff that I like, the stuff that I look at, and that's what I pretty much like.
Well, like I see what you're saying because like that became an issue for me too. Like I used to be like the most staunch like left leaning person you could ever see. Like I was sort of like I was actually actively supporting like BLM and all that stuff. Like
Right.
and then I started asking questions. And when I was asking questions, I was treated like you shouldn't ask those questions. Like that doesn't matter. Just like I said, consume product and don't ask questions. So I was
Yeah.
like, this isn't how I roll.
Yeah. And
So let me experiment somewhere else.
I was and when I was also on the also you might have seen me talk about certain anime being for pedophiles and shit like that, and
hmm
that's who I used to be. But then I start to consider this is that I'm an anime fan, right? I stand that shit to no end. And I started asking myself this. It's like, what do I really gain from doing this? What do I what why am I saying all this nasty stuff towards the anime community? And there are certain people on this on Twitter who are going to bring that up. And I just wanted to come clean right now. Yeah, so the main reason why I am the way I am today is because of Sony's censorship policy. That was the thing that woke me the hell up. And to me, it opened up a whole new world for me. It's like then the dominoes just start falling into the point that I'm not one to one the same person I was like back in 2018.
Yeah, I
I
can
agree.
kind of see
Yeah.
that. I kind of, during the whole Sandy Hook stuff years ago, I saw what they were saying about video games,
Right.
but I never kind of pursued why the outrage. Then I learned about Anita Sarkeesian, and the more you ask questions, the more, I guess, confusing things get until you realize a lot of these people are just on BS.
Yeah.
They don't care about the groups they claim to care about.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just clout or popularity or woke Twitter points.
yep.
Well, even before Sandy Hook, Columbine was really the start of all this. Like
Oh
the whole
man.
war,
Yeah.
yeah,
With the
like the whole
Republicans.
fear. Like Columbine is like the go-to example. I feel like, because I used to take a journalism class in college, I feel like Columbine needs to be like a go-to lesson in fake news, fear mongering, and
I
manipulating
know.
the story
I know people.
to write history.
Yeah, I know. I know that people used to blame Doom for that because the shooters used
hmm
to play Doom, and it's like,
Yeah, it's like,
yep,
yeah, and they claim Marilyn Manson were their influences when they didn't even like Marilyn Manson. They thought he was a poser.
right.
And
Like,
I think one of them, I think there was something, maybe I'm wrong. I think the news said something about one of them being anti-Semitic or something when it came out that he
hmm
wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't.
I
well,
think that
no,
no
they were
because
anti-Semitic because they killed one of the black guys that they killed. They actually taunted him. Like, they literally were calling him all sorts of N-word, and like they treated him really bad. Like, they were anti-Semitic, but they weren't to the point where they were like neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
It was
yep,
like, I'm racist, but I don't really fuck with Nazis. Like that
yeah.
sort of thing. Like, I have standards. Like,
hmm It's like, man, now the game has changed. It's no longer about violence in video games. That debate has been put to bed. Um, what it's really about now is games cause misogyny, it cause sexism, it cause rape culture.
pedophilia.
Yup, that's a new script now. So
Yeah.
they're trying to change the game here, and that's what I'm not. That's why I'm pretty much saying fuck this. You're not gonna get away with this. If Jack Thompson could be mocked and laughed at by the industry, I don't know how in the hell that Anita Sarkeesian ever got her fingers into this industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They used her as a I don't want to say sacrificial lamb, but they used her as like a decoy to get to sneak around. Like, they
Right.
used her to implant the idea. Like, even if she wasn't going to get as far as she got, like, she failed her Kickstarters, like, she was a financial disaster. But they used her. It's like in court. When you offer out some throwaway evidence, it may not get the initial goal, but it's out there, so people are thinking. And that idea is spreading around because you can't stop an idea.
Right.
It's all you can do is counterclaim it. So they put that out there. So it's like, hey guys, misogyny in games. So then, even though like there was a whole counterculture online war about, hey guys, there are like actual female characters that are strong. Here's a list of them. But
Right.
still, that idea was out there for people who want to hear that. So it's
Yep.
like, hard to counter an idea.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, people like Anita Sarkeesian are pretty much the angel of death for these game companies. You know how every game company that ever worked with her, they're now pretty much at death's door. You know, BioWare, the developer who made Dishonored, um, all these other guys. I can't name them on the top of my head, but I do know
hmm
that most of the games that she did have consultant work on, they basically became like bombs.
hmm
They pretty much became like box office bombs. So I'm not I'm not too worried about her in general, but you see the entire gaming industry pretty much changed in a matter, not just a decade, just a matter of just like 6 years.
hmm
And now you got all these people standing communism making these games now.
Which is ironic because
Fucking
people
ironic.
stand communism
Under
like
a
it's this,
capitalistic regime.
Exactly. It's funny.
right? Like, literally, if you were gay, black, minority, whatever, communists would kill you.
Exactly.
Like, I can't, like, oh, the theory is a relatively perfect sphere. No. No. I just look at
Communists are
people and I'm
just
like, why?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know those
Communists are so dumb.
right. It's a you know that Game Awards show when they awarded Disco Elysium with best indie game.
I remember those dudes.
Yeah, and those people basically they praise Karl Marx. They praise communism. So you know exactly what we have to deal with in the Western gaming industry now. It's like that's why I pretty much say, you know what, Japan and indie only. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I walked away. That was when I just said, you know what, I'm not playing any more Western games. That's it. And it sucks too because I really do enjoy some of these games, but I can't in good faith put my money towards that nonsense.
It's just like the nonsensical complaining that goes on in the Western gaming industry. Like literally, like I remember just with Tekken 7 alone, like
Yep.
people complained that a character, Lucky Chloe, was too much of a weeb and a cultural appropriator.
I
This white
remember
girl.
that.
And then Harada's response is like, okay, you want to complain? You don't get her. She's DLC. You don't get her.
Well,
The North American crew, you can say fuck.
yeah, thankfully Haruda is a troll, but and he basically said fuck these
Uh,
people. So and but it's getting to the point now where people just had enough of this shit. Thankfully, that Soul Calibur 6 just said fuck it. It's like they had all the set hot ladies in the world. They pretty much, they just said fuck it. We're not gonna listen to these people. We're gonna listen to the fighting game community. So I'm glad about that.
Mortal
And
Kombat. So
Mortal Kombat.
matter.
The less I hear
That
about
genuinely hurt.
What'd you say?
So that genuinely hurt.
Yeah. See, that's another reason why I just don't like Western games anymore. It's just you get too many of those people working on it, and yeah, I refuse to pay money for that game. So it's just it's Japanese only for me from now on until the West gets their shit together. That's it. So, anybody else want to have something to say before we move on from next topic?
Can't.
For us.
Hmm?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on. What you got for us?
Well. Okay, so next up, Microsoft said that the Xbox Series One, Xbox Series X, their exclusives are not going to be exclusives for the first few years. First 1 or 2 years.
Now, when I saw that, I genuinely thought it was a satire, troll article. Someone fill me in.
All right, so this is from Ars Technica right here. Let me put in the link. Yeah. So basically, they said that back in 2016, Microsoft was revealing the first details of the Xbox One Scorpio. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so pretty much, hold on. Okay, so pretty much they said that in 2021, our developers. This is from let's see, Matt Booty.
It's not.
know.
See that?
That's the head. That's the new head of Xbox. Yeah,
Bruh.
that's just his name.
On a second.
Booty.
No.
Yeah.
Hold
Booty.
up. I have to confirm. It's one of those things you feel like it's real, but at the same time, this can't.
Well, this whole generation.
You just gotta be sure.
Well, this whole generation for Xbox is booty, so I'm not surprised.
I looked it up on Google. I looked it up on Google. It's real.
Yep.
Bruh.
So,
all right, go on. My bad.
In 2021, the developers will still be expected to make games fully compatible with the original Xbox One and PS4 console hardware will be pushing 8 years old at that point. Or developers will be allowed to focus on the legacy Neo Scorpio hardware, presumably whatever new top-end upgrade will replace them. So pretty much they're saying that yeah, they're not trying to leave people behind. So I want to get y'all thoughts on it. It's like, do you think that's a good idea for Microsoft to do that? Just keep making games for it. Both the Xbox One and the Xbox One Series X. It's just a stupid name. Xbox One Series X. You think that's a good idea?
Oh man, there's a lot to take in here. You can't have Xbox without your bread and butter Halo, my guy. Are they just going to be doing remasters for the first few years and then they're going to start making exclusives?
No, these are cross-gen games.
Cross-gen.
So Halo Infinite will definitely be on the Xbox One. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so that, to me that's just stupid because it's like you're trying to sell me this hardware, Microsoft. You're trying to sell me this next generation hardware. What point? What is the point of me buying an Xbox One Series X if all the games on the damn thing are also on weaker hardware? It's like the hardware that I already own. Like, what's the point?
And Xbox is in the dire straits that it is because of all the shit that happened 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years
Oh man,
ago. Isn't that
oh,
bullshit?
man.
It's like what? Like you still. Here's the thing. I'm gonna go on a rant here. Hold on. The main reason why Xbox is in the position that they're in is because they're trying to be everybody's fucking friend. You know, they're always they're trying to be this pro consumer, pro competitive, pro friendly, non offensive image. It's like, bro, the main reason why Sony is beating your ass up and down the street is because they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't care about your feelings. They don't want to be friends with you. If they had it their way, they pretty much bitch slap you. Like, why are you trying to be friends with people that obviously do not care about you? It's like
They throw you under the
so,
bus.
exactly. Sony continuously beats your ass in every single category, and you're not even so much as throwing a counter haymaker at this. It's like all the games that Microsoft has produced this generation have been absolute garbage. Halo 5, garbage. Gears 4, mediocre. Gears 5, extraordinarily mediocre. Crackdown 3, trash. Sea of Piss, garbage.
Oh man,
Dead Frame Rate 3,
man, oh man, and
Dead Frame Rate 3, irrelevant. And
Irrelevant.
and the point
you
is,
know
Throw a
what?
rice gum at it. Irrelevant.
The worst part is
right.
I had high hopes for Xbox when they boy way before that live stream. Of course, when they announced the name of the project, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see what new exclusives they pull out. And
What is it,
then
Durango?
what'd you say?
What was it, Project Durango?
Forgot the name. They just said, "Yo, we're working on a new console. More details later." And that's all I remember.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, "Yo, I can't wait to see what they pull out." And then years later, man, this is just
A fucking far cry from what
oh,
they
poor
used to be.
Xbox.
And that E3
God damn.
and the E3 conference they held last year and the year before, it's like, what the hell? Like, these games are absolute trash, man. It's like I'm looking at these games at E3. It's like they're nothing to write home about. When I
Oh
expect to
man.
see some exclusives, some first party exclusives, I expect to see hot fire. When you see
Perfect.
when you see Sony's first party exclusives, you see God of War, you see Bloodborne, you see Uncharted 4, you see Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, Concrete Genie. It's like there's no comparison. It's like Sony's exclusives just curse stomps Microsoft in the in the ground.
And
even
Microsoft.
and even Nintendo.
Oh,
I'm sorry to say this, but even
no, go ahead, go ahead.
but even Nintendo is catching up to them. The Switch basically outsold the Xbox One's entire lifetime sales. I'm not joking.
Man.
When you have a game console that's spouted to be the most powerful game console on the planet, and then the Nintendo Switch just ups and bitch slaps you and take your crown, it's just like it comes up behind you. It's like, what do you have to offer? It's like I see most of these PC fanboys talk about, well, consoles don't need the whole game's hostage, and you don't need the whole game's exclusives and shit like that. It's like, without exclusive game, the Nintendo Switch proves to you that without exclusive games,
There needs to be competition, yeah.
right, without competition. And I feel like Sony and Nintendo are the only ones actually providing their audience with proper competition.
I think it's because Microsoft is not a gaming company, as evidenced by some of the misguided efforts in trying to make the Xbox One into this multimedia console.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the 360 and Xbox, the original Xbox, I hate that name, Xbox One. Um, yeah, they were pretty good consoles, but like Microsoft was like, yo, let's go bigger. We can make this into a Netflix, Hulu, ESPN machine.
But that that
We
that came like 5 years too late because at the time you already had like smartphones, smart TVs doing all that shit and better. You know what I mean? And it's like why would I need a gaming console to do all that?
yeah.
Like
Oh,
my cell phone could play all that stuff. You know, my TV could have done that. I can literally spend $99 to get like a I don't know at the time like a $99 to get like a Roku box and just call it a wrap.
Yep.
Call it a day. That was back in 2013. But you know,
oh yeah.
like the technology was already there. It's like why would I need to spend $500 to do the same thing?
Oh man,
Mhm.
and I also another thing about the Xbox One just collapsing in on itself this year. I mean, I said this year, this generation is that a lot of the big name directors and developers are just gone. Like they just left their own companies to be replaced by someone else. And now these sequels to much beloved franchises are just mediocre or straight up bad.
Right. It's like
And
Halo 5 was disappointing as hell because I remember that Halo used to, you know, I remember a time when Halo was pretty much like a world event. You know, like the whole world
yes.
stopped when the Halo game was announced. And now it's like nobody gives a shit about Halo anymore. It's like I barely hear anybody talking about Halo anymore. It's like what happened, Microsoft? What happened?
And Microsoft, oh man, I believe Microsoft. I don't know what they. I don't. I can't even see a solution for what they should do if they want to stay ahead of the curve next gen.
Even Destiny 2 is more relevant than Halo. And that was from Bungie. That was from Bungie themselves.
Damn.
Three. Oh no, that wasn't 343. No, yeah, Bungie.
Yeah. And keep in mind, if Microsoft would have let Bungie do what they wanted to do, you know, they said they were done with Halo for a bit and they wanted to work on something else. Imagine if Microsoft actually bought Bungie. They could have had Destiny all to themselves.
Oh yeah. And
And here's the thing. Destiny was designed in cooperation with the PlayStation 4. Did you notice?
as I remember,
Yeah, they developed the PlayStation 4 controller specifically to be comfortable with first-person shooters.
I can tell just from holding the joint alone. Yeah, I can tell.
Right. So it's like Sony already won this generation without even putting up a fight.
Oh
And
man.
I just feel like exclusives matter for a reason, people. With Nintendo especially, that matters. Even with Pokemon's even when those Pokemon games coming out, it's like exclusives are the main reason why these game consoles are still relevant. Without them, they would be garbage. So I don't know why I hear so many people talk about exclusives don't matter or you know exclusives are anti-consumer. No, cause exclusives are the most pro-consumer thing you could ever do for for your consumer. They're the most pro-consumer thing
Oh yeah.
because it gives people a reason to you know buy your hardware. And not only that, those games are cut above the rest. Like you don't see the same type of production values you see in those exclusives into any other third-party game. You don't. You just don't.
Uh,
And I will give Microsoft credit where it's due. I only got to play this at a friend's house whenever I'd come over. Sunset Overdrive, that game was hella fun, and I wish it saw a sequel saw the light of day. And I'd actually like to see more work from said developer. I forgot the nigga's name.
No, that's Insomniacs, and you know Sony bought
Insomniac. That was
And
Insomniacs. I did not.
yeah, Sony bought Insomniacs, so you already know that shit ain't gonna happen.
I know.
You know that ain't gonna happen. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's like Sony over here making like $1 million moves. Microsoft still running their gaming company like it's a lemonade stand. It's like
I think. Wait, hold on. Now hold on. This man said lemonade stand.
it's exactly.
bruh.
It took me a
Facts.
moment. It took me a moment to process it for a second.
Like a damn like a rinky dink ass lemonade stand that sells nothing but piss at the end of the day. It's Like,
Bruh.
Oh man.
you know that movie. What's it called? Problem Child, where that kid just pissed in the
Yeah.
lemonade. Yeah, that's exactly what Microsoft be selling these days. They promise you all this lemonade is just nothing but hot piss.
Yeah.
My God. My goodness.
Shit.
I don't know, man. Microsoft, like I said, man, I had high hopes for them
Before
it got turned into the CIA Box One, as I called it.
Yep. And you know the crazy thing is they released like
That shit was silly.
and you know the crazy thing is they released pretty much like 4 different consoles in that span. The Xbox One.
Oh yeah.
The Xbox One S. The Xbox One SAD. Ain't that ironic? And the Xbox One X.
I'm just now remembering the Connectless Xbox One, which by the way,
No, that's the diskless Xbox One.
Connectless Xbox One,
Yeah.
Xbox One S, the diskless, you said?
Yeah, Xbox One SAD.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Oh,
Sad.
man.
Genuinely sad.
That whole generation was sad, man. Jesus Christ.
Lord only knows what we'll see. You said a few years?
Yeah, until 2021.
Lord.
Yeah, yeah. Microsoft been around, and the Xbox has been around for pretty much 19 years now.
Microsoft, like I said, they are a computing company first. I knew something funny was going to happen if they were to make a third console, but
Yeah, and it's like they don't have the first part. They're just now getting first party talent. It's like they're already at a disadvantage because number one, they're putting all their games on PC, so there's no fucking reason to buy an Xbox One Series X. And not only that, it's the fact that Sony has essentially had 25 years in order to cultivate that first party talent. And it speaks for themselves. Like the first party games that Sony releases speak for themselves. They really do. So Microsoft has a lot to learn, and Nintendo's been around even longer, damn near 40 years.
Matter of fact, oh no, you're talking about the game. Sorry,
They're gaming. They're gaming.
My bad.
Their gaming division's been around for 40 years, and they're almost second to none with their games. So it's like Microsoft has a lot of fucking work to do, and they can't.
Matter of fact,
They just, I'm sorry, but they just
no,
can't.
you're fine.
They can't afford to dick around anymore. They have to put the pedal to the metal. You know, it's like they're too busy trying to be people's friends, trying to offer this Game Pass up, which it is good, but at the same time, that's not what people wanted. All these services and features and crossplay and shit. It's like nobody asked for. They want games, Microsoft.
And I think this is just a theory I'm throwing out, but maybe Microsoft would improve if they picked up some more Japanese developers. I remember that one project, what was it called? Scalebound by Platinum Games.
Yeah, you know how that don't end.
If they
Grand opening, grand closing.
Yes. If Scalebound saw the light of day, I think more Japanese developers would have been inclined to work with Microsoft, saying, you know what, I fuck with these niggas. You know, let's see what they got.
The main reason why that game failed, the game was canceled, is simply because number one, Microsoft made all these absurd demands. You know, they wanted the game to be multiplayer and all this shit. It clearly was. You saw the early gameplay. That clearly wasn't designed to be a multiplayer game. That game was chugging.
Definitely.
That game was chugging already. You think that like 4 people was gonna make that thing any better? And that's the thing that bothers me about Microsoft going forward is that their game, they don't have any single player games. And that's what people have been asking for the longest. Can we have some single player games? We don't want these live services. You know? If you notice, it's like most of these platform holders, these first party games, they're not killing it in the multiplayer space. It's simply in the third party space. I remember when Halo was the king of multiplayer. It's not anymore. It's Fortnite.
Yeah. And Fortnite's free.
Yeah, Fortnite's free.
God damn.
And not only free, it can run on your damn toaster. It's like It's pretty much
Right?
damn near on
I got it.
everything.
I actually have it downloaded
Well,
to my
on a brick
PS4
phone.
in case I have it downloaded to my PS4 in case younger relatives come over, just so they don't nag the shit out of me.
Oh, and you know what else too? On the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch, you get to play for free, like 100%. You don't need PS Plus or that Nintendo Switch online service to play the free to play games. So think about that for a minute. You in order to play Fortnite online, you have to have Xbox One Gold, Xbox Live Gold.
Sucks.
I'm at an.
So it's like Microsoft is doing everything but focusing on the things that are going to make Xbox greater. And I have an Xbox One, so I can't. I'm not being biased when I say this. You know?
Yeah, I've got to play the Xbox One at a brother-in-law's house just this summer. I got to play Sekiro and Devil May Cry 5. That's all I got to play, and yeah,
Yeah.
I
Now,
never got to play any exclusives, but yeah.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, the Xbox One X is a nice console on a surface value, but it's like a lot of things are just lacking there. Like the lack of a share button, and that upload studio is hot garbage. It's like and I'm talking about like the upload studio that you use to save videos and edit them in. Like the PlayStation 4 controller is just seamless. Like it's like butter smooth. It's like the PlayStation 4, share factory. That's like butter smooth. And I've seen people basically make like professional grade videos on it.
Yeah, and like you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you know what else too? The Nintendo Switch even has a better editing mode than the Xbox One X. So that's sad when Nintendo is upclassing you on something.
Oh man, Nintendo. And in a way, Microsoft is somewhat responsible for the paid online thing.
Yup. And now even Nintendo doing it.
Like I remember when I made my first ever Xbox Live account on the 360 back when I was 12, and they gave you gold for free for a few days, but I didn't know there was a paid service until it ran out. I was like, yo, nigga, cough up the money.
Exactly. Yeah, and I thought Sony was the king. I thought Sony was king shit when it comes to multiplayer online. Yeah, they servers run on fucking Walmart servers or whatnot.
Yes.
But at least it was
9
free.
years later.
But at least it was free. Now they want me to pay, and now they want me to pay for deluxe size Walmart servers. So
Oh, like
Right.
I have a story about. All right, this story will always live on. So during the PlayStation Network shutdown,
yeah, I
a
remember that.
developer decided to release SOCOM 4 at the height of the shutdown.
Yup. Grand opening, grand closing.
Classic Sony. Well, this wasn't even Sony's fault, but like.
No, that was Sony's fault. Shit.
I was talking about the SOCOM developers, but yeah.
Yeah. That's why I pretty much like. Hold on, anybody can anyone hear me?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I bought it out. Yeah, but it's pretty much just like the only place to really go for online gaming these days is basically for PC now.
Yes.
That's just non-negotiable now. PC is pretty much the only place you can go for, unlimited online multiplayer. Yeah, so it's like, man, Microsoft really disappointed the hell out of me because I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it real though. It's like the Xbox One was my first game, Xbox console, and it would be my last Xbox console. Because if that's the mediocrity I had to live with, that's a no-go, Chief. I already pissed the fuck off with Sony. I might as well not fuck with Microsoft in general.
Game developers are catching lots of slander are catching lots of slander last year, man, and for good reason.
Right.
Doing dumb shit.
Yep.
What's the incentive for me to buy an Xbox?
There is
Like
none.
for the last few years, I'm confused. What are they doing? What's their plan? I just keep seeing project this and project that.
The plan is to make you buy a damn gaming PC, nigga. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
That's what the new. Yeah.
They want
The ultimate plan. They're a PC
Yup.
firm, and they're like, we'll go back to our roots.
Right.
Sneak it in.
Microsoft, they weren't fit for they weren't fit for this game.
They promoted Age of Empires more than they promoted Gears 5.
Uh,
That should tell you everything you need to know about what their plan is. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm a bit late on this. I've been thinking about it. There's might as well not even be a Microsoft conference if all they're gonna show is multi-platform titles. It might as well just, yeah. I wouldn't even know what to call it at E3.
Yeah. Hold on.
Even is D3 anymore.
Yeah.
E3's done.
You know what? This is a perfect segue. We're gonna talk about Sony not attending E3 2020 this year.
Why?
Go ahead.
I have no idea why people are so pissed off about this. This got to be the smartest goddamn thing Sony has done this entire generation. Because who in the hell is watching that cringe fest anymore?
Only that, but
it's like,
oh man,
no, who like the only main reason why people even watching that damn thing now is because of Sony. And now that Sony's not going 2 years in a row, that's a fucking wrap for them over there. They're not coming back.
and with the ESA week, where they doxed everyone's phone numbers, home addresses, everything, it's
Right.
over.
Right. And hold on, here's this article I want to put up real quick. Hold on. E3.
It's done.
Because they were talking about, rebranding E3 and making it more about social change and whatnot. And you already know what that is, right?
No, I'm good. Pass.
They're going to have all these social media influencers talking about,
Listen,
SJW shit.
Cringe ass shit.
Right.
listen. I do not need the Ace family announcing to me a PC exclusive title.
Yeah, hold on. Here's the link.
I found it. Finally, it loads up. Good lord.
Yeah. So basically, E3 2020 plans to propose and rebrand as a fan and influencer festival.
So VidCon.
Yeah.
No, not even. Oh, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't watch these cringy ass conferences, but.
Well, VidCon isn't a thing. It's like, I mean, it's not a show or a con show. It's literally just an influencer convention in Anaheim, California. Like, it's just where all social media influencers go to get clout, go to panels. It's basically that.
Yeah. It's like, hold on. Let me find it. Let me find this. Okay, this is what E3 this is what E3 is about for 2020. The ESA's pitch for DEC also targets millennials and Gen Z, describing them as the most giving back generation by taking advantage of the social good, the power of social good. The ESA hopes to cater to millennials that will be a good investment for future events. So
That's not how you're gonna.
Pretty much, this is what they're trying to do. The power of social good. Research shows that millennials and Gen Z are the most giving back social good generations ever. By amplifying E3's social good brand, we can also advance the industry brand with consumers while storing positive chits for future use. Example: policy goals and next negative video game. What the hell is this? Anyway, one tactic we can implement is partnering with influencers like celebrities, athletes, and YouTube personalities who are passionate about E3 and the relevant social good of efforts, e.g., gender equality and STEM. Imagine an NBA champion, global superstar, participating in an E3 Coliseum conversation, and or a global movie star being a part of the E3 digital ticket because it included social good components.
I can see it right now. Motherfucking Ben Simmons hopping on stage. Hi, how y'all doing? How about that Breath of the Wild?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Woo.
they're doing a last ditch effort. This is like a last ditch effort to save their company. They're trying to be
Oh, this is the
appealing.
Well, do you know this is the ESA, right? This is
E3.
basically the lobbying group of the game industry.
Oh yeah,
They're
and
pretty much
without them, there would be no ESRB, and without the ESRB, the government would legit full on step in and
Right.
regulate how we rate our games.
No.
Which we don't want that, but we're.
So they're
Oh
so
fuck.
they're kind of a necessary evil, but at the same time,
Well-
it's like it's like wow.
It's government regulation with extra steps.
Right.
Like you know that essentially, right?
Right.
Like the government is still controlling our like rating for games. It's just they're using a middleman to do it. Like,
Right. And even then, it's like there are most games that come out on PC that don't even get rated. So
right.
it's on that. But
PC's the Wild Wild West, yeah.
it may stay that way. But yeah, with E3, man, it's like I don't know why people expect Sony to stay around for that train wreck. And keep in mind, they're already going full soy. I don't really want them to go even more like soy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I read a snippet. I believe that Sony's self-owned conferences are going to be held somewhere in New York City.
Well, at least that's something.
Hmm.
Well, at least that's
I
at least it's not California. I'll say that much.
I remember watching a video. I don't even know if this theater's around anymore. It was the Sony Theater.
Yeah,
I guess they're going to be holding them there.
I guess yeah, but it's like at the same point, like I don't really, like I'm not really like I can't really get excited for Sony because of their little policy. I can't really get excited for that. You know?
Oh yeah, Sony's been bitch slapping a lot of developers, man.
Right. And it's like, but going back to what I'm saying, it's like, what's even the point of E3 when you can pretty much, watch, like see a tweet on Twitter or a blog post and it gets like thousands and millions of likes. Like for that PS5 logo on Instagram, that pretty much got like, just for the damn logo itself is the most liked post of a video game company. In Instagram history. So it's pretty much, it's like who the hell needs E3 anymore? It's like when you have this much social media clout, it's like I know people like that's pretty much a world-stopping event when Nintendo puts out a direct. It's like people go apeshit over these Smash Directs and these Nintendo Directs. It's like they don't really need E3 anymore.
And I could say the same for Nintendo. I mean, like Nintendo can just throw it has their own miniature E3s in the form of a direct.
Right. So I mean, what's really the point? Oh, here's something that Phil Spencer said. Hold on, you're gonna love this. You're gonna fucking love this. This tweet by Phil Spencer. Our team is hard at work on E3, and we're looking forward to sharing all who love to play and what's ahead for us. Our art form is consistently propelled by the cross-section of creativity and technical progress. 2020 is going to be a milestone year in that journey for Team Xbox. So in other words, Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. Microsoft ain't got a competitive bone. Like, what the hell happened to Microsoft, man?
What
happened to
actually
Xbox,
live.
man? It's like that used to be
Go
the grown man console. That used to be the shooter box one, the bang bang shooter nigga box one. It's like they don't care. Now they have gone completely soy. Like they've gone spineless.
I'm sorry for getting off topic here, but what you just said reminded me of this old video from 2007 where this dude called the PlayStation 3 the PlayStation Triple. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Well, now it's the 5th chapter of the PlayStation experience.
Oh man.
That's what people be calling now. But yeah, I know what you're talking. I know who you're talking about. Review Tech USA. But
the PlayStation Triple.
Exactly. Now it's PlayStation Quadruple.
Oh fuck.
But yeah, it's like, man, I don't know what the hell happened to Microsoft. man. It's like maybe
Yeah,
it's a change in culture. It's a change in who's in charge. But I want the gaming industry to be competitive. You know what I mean?
oh man, like Nintendo and Sega were coming at each other's throats back in the late '90s.
Yep.
Yo, man, Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
Exactly, and I like that old school competition because these companies were willing to work for our dollar, and now all
I
these
know.
companies want to work, and now all these companies want to split their own separate way. It's like, no, I need these companies to work together. There's a main reason why the console wars benefited from that shit. It's like if you have a lack of competition, it's like you're gonna have a lack of pro consumer policies. Sony damn near already has a monopoly on the console market. Microsoft is damn near irrelevant. It's like, what the hell are people excited for the Xbox for, other than the deranged fanboys on Twitter? And Nintendo gonna beat to their own drum. They can't. It's like they already extend themselves to being the bottom bitch of the game industry now. They're basically the side bitch of the game industry. So it's like you can get that console alongside your other primary platform and call it a day. Just like, no, I want you to be the primary console for somebody. I want you to be the primary console. For people who just want to play video games. It's like you shouldn't have to be the side piece of anything. Right.
Rise from the ashes, my child.
So when I think about all the shit that's been happening this generation, it's like the game industry has lost its balls, man.
They become complacent.
Exactly, and when you become complacent, you get stagnation. A lot of people have been saying that the 7th generation was the most stagnant generation on the planet.
It was amazing.
It was, yeah, it was, and at least you had these companies basically coming at each other with
Yes, they were.
all the different things they can put out, but it's like these companies they just don't give a shit anymore, and you got the fan bases too complacent and not wanting better. And I don't need to tell you about the Sony fanboys on Twitter.
Oh no, fuck those niggas.
They are ride or die.
Yep.
They bootlicking hard.
Like these are the video game equivalent to a K-pop stan. I cannot believe I just found myself saying that, but it's true.
The K-pop stan will let the Ku Klux Klan. Fuck out of here.
Bruh, I'm saying
That's why I call
they'll hang their own to dry.
Right. It's like y'all saw this post I talk about The Last of Us, right? It's like people ever since I made that post about The Last of Us, people have been coming up my head left and right talking about you a hater or why you gotta I just simply said the game is not that fucking good. And I already got these PlayStation fanboys and these fucking game journalists coming at me. It's like, bro.
And one symptom of the tail end of the last generation is that it suffers from what I like to call telltale syndrome, where every game has to be this adventure type game where your choice does or doesn't matter, and every game has to be this huge cinematic. I'm talking Uncharted 2 type shit. Like, like your game has to be like Indiana Jones.
Yeah. It's like The Last of Us was like the swan song for the PlayStation 3. And it's like, don't get me wrong, it's a good game. I got the game on the PlayStation 4. And even though I like the game, it's not the greatest game on the planet, especially when there's like dozens of different games out there that have much better stories than The Last of Us.
See to the west.
Exactly. And that game is mostly for people who want to show their friends that video games are not just childish nonsense, and they want to show their normie friends everything about video games. And oh, look at me, I'm mature now. See, look, it's like, bro.
Matter of fact, BioShock. Not many people talk about it, but BioShock Infinite also suffered from the same symptoms of The Last of Us.
Well,
in a way.
In a way, yeah. It's like. It's like it came out in the same year, but in a way it did. It's like it wasn't really like it wasn't like his predecessor. I'll say that.
Uh,
It definitely wasn't. The DLC is good, but it's like the base game, nah.
someone won. Oh,
Oh, he just came back. Yeah.
Mhm.
oh yeah,
No,
someone.
yeah, D3 Bud just left, so
So,
he came back. Yeah. But
Fox went up.
yeah. So what I want to say is this: Microsoft got to put they got to put their best foot forward this generation or next generation. But I ultimately don't think they're gonna do it. They're not gonna put they're not gonna put their next foot forward this next generation. And the main reason why is because their fan base doesn't demand better. You know, their fan base is complacent. And the same thing with Sony too. It's like
Yeah.
their censorship policy. They should have been raked over the coals with it. It's like no, you have to dismantle it, but no, people are complacent about that. And these Sony fans, they'll basically they'll come at your neck saying, "Oh, why are you defending this sexy crap, you pervert?" It's like they call you all sorts of names under the sun. It's like
Seen that shit.
it's like, bro, listen, you ain't gotta like this shit. You ain't gotta like this shit, but you gotta understand that's a problem, bro. It's like
I don't.
and if you see my Twitter timeline, my that year end PlayStation thing that's been going on,
Okay.
Mhm.
I put in a lot of time and work into PlayStation. I put a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
fucking
me too.
time in that thing. 420 trophies this year. That's how much I got. 1,511 hours put into that game. My most played game was Ni no Kuni 2, The
Definitely.
Revenant Kingdom. I don't want to hear shit from these Sony fanboys about how much of a PlayStation fan they are. Because you're never gonna beat me in that.
I'm not a huge fan. Well, I wouldn't say huge, but I really can't get into Senran Kagura. But I will not stand here and defend Sony saying, "Hey, yo, fuck you, nigga. You gotta take these boobs and shit out, nigga, for the American audiences."
Right. It's like all it would take is a campaign for these damn game journalists to come out and actually call Sony out, because this is potentially the biggest damn story of the damn generation. And you think that they'll be all over it with all the controversy they seem to merchant. You think that this would be the thing this would be the juiciest news story on the planet, but no, they don't do it. They don't. It boggles my mind.
Oh, I forgot what I was about to say for a second.
Big fact.
I'm getting an aneurysm talking about this because Sony fanboys, well, all their talk about the PlayStation Nation or the PlayStation platform is the best platform. Them niggas at the most deranged motherfuckers on the planet. They do not want better for that platform. And you gon' and mark my words, nobody stays on top forever, people. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
That's what happened to Rome.
Exactly. That's what happened with the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
So when
Man.
when you don't demand better, you get shit. When you don't demand better, you get mediocrity. When you don't demand better, you ultimately lose people. And that's the same fate that happened with Xbox when you don't demand better. So you thought it was bad with Xbox? With PlayStation, they not listening? And you know, you got these Xbox, when you got these PlayStation fanboys, they not listening? It's like people had no other choice but to just move on to the next platform, the next best platform, and that might be Nintendo or the PC. Because I'm at a point now in my life where I said, you know what, Sony, it's been a good 25 years, but it's time for me to move on, bro. It's like I can't stand by this. You know, so I'm already
man.
making plans to upgrade my PC this year.
Man, sorry, I'm at a loss for words right now. I can't speak.
What was I laying down that hot fire?
Yes, you were, man. But
Yeah, I had that effect. I had that effect on people. I'm the preacher around here. So,
Eh,
hmm?
Look, I can't think of what I wanted to say just now. I legit forgot what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Hold on, let me look at something here real quick. But yeah,
Yeah.
so what y'all think?
I think that Xbox, if they want to survive at E3, if there's going to be an E3, God only knows. What they need to do is instead of showing multi-platform titles, they need to start showing mostly exclusives at their own show, and maybe every now and then show like a multi-platform. But yeah,
Oh, let me tell you something. These Inside Xbox shows were hot garbage.
Xbox.
Inside Xbox, they're little dedicated shows. They're basically 2 hour long shows of it's basically their version of Nintendo Direct instead of Play, but
I did not know this.
yeah, but it is so painful. It's so painful to look at, man. It's so painful to look at. It's basically they're pretty much showing games that we already know about, like these slow gradual up. It's like they've been showing PUBG for like 4 shows now, like 6 shows now. They've been showing the same damn game for all this time, and it's like, when are we gonna get some updates on some new titles, man? So it's like Microsoft. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words too because it's like I don't know. Maybe I'm just wasting my time. I don't know.
People, I think that people need to start boycotting and stop being complacent with all of these bad practices from both Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah,
But
Especially
Nintendo
Sony.
too.
yeah, and Nintendo.
Yeah, probably for the Nintendo. But with Sony, it's weird to see how they're going down. They're kind of falling from their glory.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like
And it's kind of sad because they do have a lot of good exclusives.
right, and that's sad because it's like if Sony wouldn't have done that, they would have a damn near a flawless victory this generation. If Sony didn't implement that policy, that would have been an absolutely flawless victory. So it's it it blows my mind every time I think about that because I never thought in a million years that Sony would be doing that. But as far as Microsoft goes, it's like they not only need to show first party exclusives, they need to show good first party exclusives. I'm talking about first party exclusives that are on the level of The Last of Us. That are on the level of Bloodborne. That are on the level of, say, Horizon Zero Dawn. I need something. I can't be playing these little cell phone games that they keep putting out. I can't be putting out, like, for example, that game with that game they showed where the kid those kids just shrunk to like a microscopic size. Anyone see that game that new game from the city? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
No. What's it called?
Yeah, hold on. Hold on. Let me find this real quick.
Okay, I'm back.
You left already? I was born.
Oh yeah, I just had to take some medicine real quick.
I know I made you faint. I know I made you faint with that Hobbs gospel, but let me show you right here. Hold on. Yeah, it's called Grounded. Hold on. Let me put this up. So, Grounded is Obsidian reveals a new co-op survival game called Grounded, and it's pretty much what you expect. It's nothing special. It's just another co-op game, another game with cartoony graphics. It ain't nothing good. It's like, I find it funny that Microsoft is talking about, oh, we got the most powerful game console on the planet, but these games don't take that much advantage of it.
Power isn't the issue. Yes, your game could, your game could be. I say game. Your console could be running fucking Skynet for all we know, but it can still play some trash ass games.
Right. It's like, what I need is some games that are actually going to take full advantage of that thing, so I can buy it.
And I remember when.
There's no reason to buy that thing now. There's no reason to buy any Xbox. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, what are they making? I don't want to play Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the game. I want to play a game that's actually fun. It's actually good.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of
Legit. What?
you're gonna see a lot of Microsoft games coming forward that are just it's mostly Game Pass fodder, really. It is.
Matter of fact,
Yep.
now that I think about it, isn't half the Game Pass, I mean, half the items on Game Pass 360 games,
Yep.
if I recall?
Yep. They're doing this just to fill content. They're not doing it just they're not doing it just for the just to impress people. And you notice how Microsoft doesn't even tell you the sales numbers of games anymore? They just tell you how many users they have.
I don't know, man.
They don't do that anymore. They tell you how many people ate a bag of chips in State of Decay, how many zombies took a piss in Left 4 Dead or whatever. It's like I don't need to know all that. I need to know what games are you making, how much this game sold, how much the Xbox sold, and what are we going to expect in the future. And Microsoft has not given anybody a glimpse of what to expect in the future, so it's kind of meh. It's like nobody's really talking about the Xbox One Series X anymore. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Nobody's talking
I
about
mean,
it.
it got memed on for a little while, but...
Right, nobody's talking about it. It's like people are talking more about the PlayStation 5 for fuck's sake. And that's just a logo. That's just a logo and more people are talking about that joint. So
Oh, man.
it's like that's what that's what I hate about this generation. It's the fact that these companies are too complacent.
And fucking... Not only that, but another thing I've noticed is that the wrong people are buying beloved properties. I remember in 2012 when EA bought what was it, Star Wars.
Yep.
FPS.
Yeah, that
And who else was it? I'm trying to remember what other properties were bought. And that's the only one I can remember.
well, that's just licensing.
Yeah.
As far as licensing go, I think Ubisoft still makes South Park games, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Well, Fractured But Whole is like the recent.
Yeah,
Man.
I gotta buy that. I gotta buy that.
It's pretty good. And when you buy Fractured But Whole, you get Stick of Truth.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm gonna get next.
Free.
So anybody got anything else to say?
I've run out. Yeah, this well's run dry.
Okay. Anybody else?
No.
Okay, so final thing. What games are you looking forward to this this year?
Oh man, there's a lot of shit on my list, man. We'll be here for days. Anyway,
I probably might need to pick up a second job just to get them games.
matter of fact, anyway, let me get to it. Final Fantasy VII Remake, which got delayed. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk 2077, motherfucking Resident Evil 3.
That's it?
That's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's all you can comprehend.
No, I can't fuck with no Animal Crossing, and Doom is on my list. Doom Eternal.
What platform?
Yeah, I can't wait for Doom.
What platform you getting it on?
What Doom?
Yeah.
Yeah, PS4. This computer I'm using is a school computer. Like that's all it's intended for, just for college shit.
Oh. Anybody else? Anybody else getting?
I might buy Doom Eternal. I was gonna buy for Switch, but I guess I'll buy it for PC.
What
That's kind of the.
What other games you looking forward to this year?
Not much. Mainly, I'm looking back. I'm just collecting older games. That's the plan I have.
Yep.
Until something kind of big comes.
Okay.
I guess the new Final Fantasy looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does the
Matter of-
Resident Evil remake.
Yeah, nothing wrong with going back and collecting some old games, man. I've been collecting games from the PS3 very recently, man.
Yeah, you going dumpster diving now, fam?
I'm going to I usually head to this record store in Maryland called the Record Exchange. They got all kind. They got games from every generation.
Oh, really? For a record store?
That's good.
Yeah, they sell both music and video games.
Oh, nice,
They-
nice.
Of course, all their really old shit like the SNES and Sega Genesis, it's locked up behind a glass just in, just some fuck nigga does not fuck it up.
Of course, of course.
But yeah, I really recommend people start, collecting old, last gen games.
Yeah,
in case.
That's what I've been
I'm trying to collect those old Armored Core games. I've got a PS2 sitting in a box.
Definitely.
Yep. Yep.
I've those PS3 Armored Core games. I really just want to play those.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think most of them.
A lot of mecha titles.
I know most of them are PC. At least the PS3 ones.
I've only played
Really?
Armored Core 5 on my 360.
Yeah, that's on PC as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Mineral, you
Yeah,
got anything?
I'm looking for the PS2 ones.
Yeah. So Mineral, you got something you got to look forward to? Mineral?
Trying to think. Well, for one, I want to actually get a PC that way. I want to get some of the new anticipated One Piece games.
Perfect.
World Seeker.
I had World Seeker. I have World Seeker. It was really good. I enjoyed it. People did.
It's Burning Blood, or is that the name of it? Burning Blood?
I mean Burning Trash.
Yeah, I love Burning Blood too.
Oh.
I mean Burning Trash.
I mean, it is kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie. The gameplay is super spotty. It's like Jump Force level.
I'm sorry. I
Listen,
can't.
the only anime fighter I want to see this generation is pretty much DBZ Fighter Z. That is GOAT. That's God.
That game is.
I don't like Dragon Ball Z, but I have to say the games are really well. I grew up on a lot of the games, and the games are really well.
The game is fast paced. It's in your face and everything, man.
Yup.
Like that game.
Mhm.
Oh my god, that's the only reason to attend Evo or like watch an Evo stream, just because of how fast paced it is.
Yup. I'm surprised they're not adding more content to that joint. Matter of fact, I don't even. I don't want to hear. I don't hear any more about that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot trash, man.
What's the
that
point
game?
of that game?
Huh?
What is it even about? What's it like? Why is it so special?
Bro,
It
you
just
already
looks
know what
like
it's about. It's about the same three.
Xenoverse.
It's
Frieza Saga,
same
Raditz.
Saga,
What was it?
Majin
Yeah.
Buu, Cell.
I've watched all of that.
Just the same shit over and over. Man. We already know that joint.
Like I went to GameStop a few days ago, and I'd seen them like they were plugging this game extra hard, man.
No, we already know
it's
what happened, bro. Let's.
Yeah, and
They know
the
them
gameplay footage I
Blu-rays
saw.
drying up.
Huh?
They know them Blu-rays drying up, so they trying to push that game.
Which game?
Yeah, so it's like, man, I can't really do any more Dragon Ball Z games, man. It's like I'm all Dragon Ball out. I can't do it no more.
Yeah, I saw gameplay footage of it at GameStop a few days ago, and so it's an open world game. I can't even do a good accurate description of it.
So it's basically it's basically the HD version of Legacy of Goku.
Yeah,
That's what
I
it
was
is.
saying. I'd rather play Xenoverse on a PC.
Exactly. I was gonna say Xenoverse times like 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm surprised that game's still getting into action though.
It's got an active player base to this day, surprisingly.
I know, that's crazy. Okay, as far as
I mean, it's a pretty innovative.
yeah, it's like I can't really knock people for playing DBZ games like that because you know it's easy to get into. That's just the most normie bait anime game out there.
Something that just chill to.
Right. I don't know
And
why.
they're genuinely like enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't know why One Piece games have been so trash lately, man. It's like
It's because I feel like they're in that state because One Piece is so popular that they have these good ideas, but when they put it out on paper, they put it out in the development space. It's like
I know World.
it's so mediocre.
Yeah, it's like
Like they know the fans will eat it up
yeah, I
because
know.
it's One Piece.
I know. I thought World Seeker was gonna be different, but it's just the same. and they don't even really have.
It's basically unlimited red.
And I thought maybe it's like okay, they got the Dragon Ball Z cast on there. Why not just get the English cast on there, right? And it doesn't even have that. It's like, why does Dragon Ball Z get some like preferential treatment, man? It's like
Because Dragon Ball Z is like the precipice of like.
yeah, but so is
It,
but One Piece is damn near like monolith right now.
I know, but like
What
they don't sell, they can't sell toys the way they can with Dragon Ball Z because Dragon Ball Z is a normie anime. Like niggas in the hood
Dragon
know what
Ball-
Dragon Ball Z is.
I know.
Like Dragon Ball Z is the lot 29 of like
Yeah, but
of
even
the world.
but even like the Naruto games get the English voice cast on there. It's like
Well, because it's popular. Like One Piece is that weird stalemate. Like, and it bothers me to like a T that One Piece is like it is literally a god. Like it is a god tier anime, and like it has everything. It has its own amusement park. It was one of the only shonen anime that had an American convention solely dedicated to it. But Kamehameha suddenly gets all this attention.
yeah.
Nakama-con's been going on for like 5 years before, but like it's so weird. I don't get it. Like it's so popular, but it's so underrated.
Yeah, I think it's
sad.
because of the
Some,
art.
for some people, it's harder to get into.
Well, yeah,
It's too
because it's
long.
like
The
900 plus
animation's
episodes.
ugly. It's like
it's because of the
bye.
art. I think it's
It
because
looks
of the
good,
art
though.
style. I think it's because of the art style that One Piece is not, getting that recognition. It's like you look at the.
I don't see why.
Yeah,
Well,
me
it's
neither.
because it's too cartoony. Like you look,
I mean,
if anybody read the manga, you know that like One Piece is it's not looked at as like a traditional manga. It's like you don't have like the melodramatic, well you do have melodrama in there, but it's not like the protagonist is not like the main protagonist is not like a mopey emo kid.
I mean, Dragon Ball isn't like that at all. Like Goku's an idiot who like constantly comes back from the dead.
I know,
The
but
premise is so dead,
I know,
but like everybody accepts it.
yeah, but it's like with Luffy, it's like he doesn't really have that much of a defining like look. It's just
It's pretty unique in its nightmare fuel.
Yeah, he's just a guy in a straw hat. That's just all it is. Just a guy in a straw hat.
Stick.
I'm not gonna lie, Luffy's face used to scare me when I was younger.
Speaking of Luffy's face, I remember someone took a screenshot of Jump Force when she first got it, and it was a picture of Luffy looking creepy as all hell. He lost the
I remember that
screenshot, of
face.
course, but
Speaking of Jump Force, it's like, how many of these award shows are gonna give that game a nomination for best fighting? Like, what?
matter of
But it's
fact,
bad.
Why would
someone
you?
might.
Like, I think Dice actually put gave it like a spot at the best fighting game, like the Dice Awards. It's like, why would you?
Compared to J-Stars, yeah.
Yeah, like, why would you nominate that trash?
Because it's not J-Stars. We're just happy we're out of the J-Stars territory.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember J-Stars.
Oh, I remember that joint too well.
Yeah, now but now we're in now we're in the Jump Force saga. It's like come on, bro. That shit look like like everything looks so plasticky in that game.
I've
It's
never,
so pretty. That's all it's.
I've never played the game,
I think that
but hearing the words "Junk Force" will never not make me laugh.
it might as well be called Jump Force. And
It's like.
What-
and I
What's
think
so special about it?
the only thing is special about it is that it's the only video game that still remembers Bleach.
Yes,
Oh,
my
yeah.
nigga Cream Chow.
Well-
My nigga Cream Chow.
Okay, so it's supposed to be what J-Stars was supposed to be back in the day, and it's supposed to be basically a free-for-all of all the shonen protags and characters,
Basically,
like,
it's the Smash,
fighting off against each other.
It's basically
Yeah,
it's basically
yeah.
the Smash Brothers of like Shonen Jump.
yeah.
And,
It doesn't even
But
seem
the
as good as
gameplay is
Smash Bros,
ass.
though. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen that.
Yeah,
And one of the reasons why I think it's failed is because, what was it, Bandai Namco?
Mhm.
Yeah, whoever developed it they built up a lot of hype for it, and there was a lot of hype,
Yeah.
understandably so, because there's like billions of shonen fans across the world, so expectations
Mhm.
were high for this title.
come on now.
People just saw their favorite from tag.
Yeah, but come on now. Anybody with a brain would know that this game was gonna be hot garbage. It's like just
Yeah,
looking
what do
at
you
it.
expect?
Yeah.
It's just all your favorite anime characters fighting, or
Yeah, but
every what if battle you have thought about.
yeah, but
It
like
was
no.
fan service the game. Like, I don't see how
Yeah.
people thought it was going to be any different.
And I looked
Exactly.
at the gameplay footage of that. It's like there's no like unique character interactions. No unique.
I know you.
storyline. It's like no like. Who
You
cares?
know what they should have did? They should have done it. I don't know if you remember this game from like the early 2000s. It was called it was where all the Nickelodeon characters were on this island. I forgot what it was called. I still have the game somewhere in my like old game box or something. It was like all something of the island. It was a Nickelodeon free for all game where all the Nickelodeon characters met up on this island and they had to stop this like volcano spirit or whatever. I wish it would have been like that, where all the characters knew each other from. It was like how the Toriko and the One Piece and Dragon Ball Z crossover animes are, how they talk to each other and they know who each other are and like the weird nuances. They should have been like that. Makes a little bit of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar for that game, but I know like I understand the premise of that. It's like to me, I just think that all these anime games just need to stop, or at least take a long hiatus, man. Because it's like these games are becoming hot garbage, man.
They need to do it how they did the JoJo game, the JoJo Gotcha game.
One solution would be to take away the monopoly of anime games from Bandai Namco.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because oh yeah. I mean, well, Cyber 2 Connect was the one that made the Naruto game, so.
Oh no, no, mind. Do not take away rights from them. No, please don't. CyberConnect 2. They make some excellent titles. I'm talking like Dot Hack. Yo, CyberConnect is on. Yo, they're in their element with every game.
Well, I heard they were making an original game, and they might reveal it.
What is it?
I don't know. They didn't say anything.
They just did. Oh.
Yeah, so we had to see about that, man. It's just I can't really, man. All I have to say is this: like, World Seeker pretty much disappointed the hell out of me in more ways than one, because I was actually looking forward to getting like that true blue One Piece game, and it's just it just.
What, World Seeker?
Yeah, World Seeker.
Just play Unlimited Red. It's basically World Seeker.
Yeah, but it's like you play these games. It's like it's just a rehash of the same story you've seen from the manga. It's like I don't want that. I just want a brand new, wholly original, true blue, no callbacks to the manga story. And it's
like the movies.
Yeah, it's like the only anime game that's truly worth a damn, in my opinion, is Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles. Those games were lit.
I still have my it's looking right at me too. I still have my copy of one of them.
What we really needed is a sequel to Uzumaki Chronicles. Like just
I think there was one.
Like yeah, Uzumaki Chronicles and Uzumaki Chronicles 2, but after that they just stopped at that. I think there was just one game on the Wii. I don't know. It was based on shipping, but like I forgot what it's called. It's called Dual Blaze or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, man, it's like more anime games need to produce more like original stories, like the throwaway stories that the author couldn't fit into the original like manga, but they just throw it at these developers and just have them go from there. Like stories that they came up with, but they couldn't really put it into like form of the manga, so they just gave it to these developers and let them go through there. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, like try with concepts you might not put in your manga, but yeah, I think that may be fun.
Right. So that
I
way,
want to see what they come up with.
Yeah. So
outside of the anime.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about the anime. Making all this like filler. You can have game developers basically bring your vision to life. Make it a supplement like material. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think all these games and movies should be. Like, make it supplementary material so it can build the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so huh? Anyone say anything?
Oh no.
I just kind of want more mecha games. Like, I know it's a niche, but like
Mhm.
Oh,
Titanfall.
definitely.
Titanfall was one, but you know those old Armored Core games had a
Yeah, they had a more.
even though
They
it
had
had
a
a
more.
small community, they had a tight community.
Yeah, but
One of my close friends, he's playing Demon X Machina, a game that was announced during a
Yeah,
yeah,
Nintendo
that's
Damon X
Direct.
fun.
Machina. I have.
That's crazy,
I
man.
actually got the demo downloaded on my Switch. I might
You
have to
gotta
play
play
that.
the full game. You have to, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Hopefully,
Game is wild.
hopefully that Oh, you see that that crossover with The Witcher 3 in the
We don't.
Hmm?
Yeah, that came out for the West. They were doing one with I think two other mecha. I think Code Geass, but it never came out for the West.
Yeah, that might have to do with
Mhm.
just licensing issues. But I understand. Hopefully From Software will come back to Armored Core and probably make another
They
mecha
say they
game.
are.
Yeah, I hope they are too, because they can't just keep relying on Souls games forever.
Oh, definitely.
I swear. Before Souls games, they had so many that weren't Armored
Oh my
Core. They
God,
had so many nice
if
mecha titles.
if these game journalists thought that Dark Souls was hard, bruh, you have no idea what Armored Core and Kingsfield was like. Those were hard.
Yeah, I've seen the gameplay.
My God, it's like
I played some of the emulated on my computer. That's true difficulty with the Last Raven.
yep.
That game's like there's no chance you can't mess up.
Or else like things will be fucked up permanently.
Yeah.
So oh boy, look at the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a night owl, so I'm just used to this shit.
right.
Same.
So anybody else got any topics you want to bring up?
Good.
I mean, I don't think it's game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh! I didn't. I thought I was lagging.
Yeah. So okay, all right. So oh shit, I forgot. I didn't put my top five favorite games coming up. I forgot.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, what I'm looking forward to is mostly indie games on the side. So I'm looking forward to this game called Chris Tales. I don't know if you guys heard of this.
What's it about?
It's about this game where this girl, she, it's kind of like with Odin Spear, but you know she gets to walk around. It's an RPG, and she goes around different time periods, the past, the present, and the future simultaneously. And you know she gets to explore the world. I actually downloaded the demo on the PC, so I gotta go around and play that. But from what I played, it's actually pretty good, especially with the simultaneous time traveling aspect of it.
So
Another game I'm looking.
Oh, I do want to play Final Fantasy. I'm sorry, I just thought of this. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh,
it's late at night.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just interrupted you. Like it was, I
You're
just
fine.
thought about it. The Final Fantasy VII remake, because I get to see Cloud as a trap in the sexiest form possible.
What did they fuck?
Okay.
What did they fuck it up?
Oh man.
I mean, they're not
Yeah,
gonna fuck it up. It's Final Fantasy. Like everyone, it automatically is beautiful in that franchise.
I can't wait to see my girl Tifa.
To continue what you were saying, I'm sorry. That was like something that popped in my mind.
Okay. All right. So another game I wanted to play in 2020 is Ghost of Tsushima. I think that game looks absolutely amazing.
Oh.
You know, it's not like anime sword ninja style. It's basically a realistic take on what a ninja is supposed to be.
Yes,
So,
and with the Sekiro's release, there's been a resurgence in popularity of samurai media as a whole.
or ninja media.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. What else? Shoot. I guess the games are on the top of my head, but I can't just list them right now. But my God. Oh yeah, the Dark Crystals Tactics game. Ever heard of that?
Fill us in, homie.
It's basically a tactics game set in the world of the Dark Crystal. That's it.
I've never heard of this series.
Now this is a movie.
A movie.
Yeah, The Dark Crystal, the one with David Bowie.
Bowie.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at it on Google. This looks pretty good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was made by Jim Henson, the screenwriters for Jim Henson.
And this shit was ahead of its time. Looking at it, 1982.
Yep, and it was a PG. I think it was rated PG.
Oh yeah, before the MPA.
Yep.
I'll always remember that story.
Mhm. So oh wait, no, that no, talking about that wasn't one David Bowie. That was the Dark Labyrinth. Yeah, but the Dark Crystal was pretty good, and I can't. It's one of those movies where I wish that practical effects were still a thing. You know, everybody relying on CGI.
Oh, something just fell off my desk.
Yeah, and with the Jim Henson company, it's like, why aren't they being used more? Like, you know, like Disney has like, you know, that's a different topic for a different day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Other than that, I'm looking forward to that as well. Gosh, as terms Breath of the Wild 2. If that game comes out in 2020, that's a day one buy. I thoroughly like.
That is a day one buy.
I thoroughly like Breath of the Wild 1, but it's like it had a lot of flaws on it. But hopefully, with the sequel we get to play. Hopefully, with the sequel, the weapon system will actually be pretty improved. The stamina system improved. We get more dynamic side quests. You know, I'm just hoping that this game would be pretty. I'm hoping this game would actually be improved on the formula that was Breath of the Wild.
It looks like it's gonna try to go a little darker, like I think Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess.
I hope so.
So story-wise, it looks promising.
I hope so. I didn't even think that it was going to get a sequel. To be honest with you.
Yeah, me either.
Because because the ending was so open ended. It's like I didn't really think that it was going to, like, I thought, well, spoiler alert for anybody who didn't play Breath of the Wild, but the game came out like 2 years ago. Anybody want to hop out, they can, or mute me. But yeah, the game pretty much is about the game. The ending was pretty. It was subtle, but it wasn't like over the top. It's like it left a lot to be open ended. It's like with Link reunited with Zelda and him like remembering who he is. Is that there's a lot of the game itself. The whole plot of the game itself is so damn open ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like everything's left to interpretation. So I think that you can draw your own conclusions to what the story is, because Zelda's never been strong on the story front, but I kind of like that in a sense. You know, I kind of like the fact that you can draw your own conclusions. You know, the story's not spelled out for you.
Definitely, yeah.
What?
I didn't say anything.
I keep thinking you're about to say something.
My only criticism is kind of although it's open world, there's as much. But there are enemies, but there aren't as many, I guess, dynamic side quests as I hope.
Yeah.
And the final boss was lackluster. Like, it wasn't as fun as I thought.
Yeah.
Whereas the DLC boss, Mas Koshia, or whatever he's called, that's a boss fight that I'll keep on playing. Like, that was fun.
Yeah, I have yet to get the DLC. That's on the Wii U, so I've yet to get it. Yeah. What I hope for the Breath of the Wild sequel is that, you know, the Yaba clan was so like woefully underused in that game.
Oh man,
like
I forgot about them.
That could have been something that could have definitely made the game a lot better in terms of like story. You know, they turned them into a joke in them, but I wanted them to be more of a threat. I do like the fact that they can ambush you anywhere when you traverse the world, but it's like I need them to be more threatening, you know. So yeah, I am looking forward to Breath of the Wild 2020, and let's hope we get more news on Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Please.
Let's hope we get like an actual concrete release date, and cause I'm ready. I like as much as I like Persona. Oh well, yeah. As much as I like Persona, man, I want to go. I want to get back to the dark roots of Shin Megami Tensei. Just go full on grim dark.
Yes.
Yeah, just give me that grim dark. Oh, speaking of that, Persona 5 Royal. Now that is something
Yes.
I have been looking forward to since 2015. I specifically didn't buy Persona 5 just for the reason that I knew that Atlas was going to do this. I knew Atlas was going to make a quote unquote definitive version of Persona 5.
Oh yeah, as they always do.
Yeah, with all their Persona games. I knew they was going to do this. And now that there's confirmed to get like a March release date, I'm saving them pennies, folks. And not only that, I'm getting Persona 5 Scramble as well. I'm getting both those games.
Definitely that game. Oh man, I saw those trailers, man. That game. Oh, it looks like it's gonna be more than just a Muso game.
Right. It's like so Switch fans, you ain't got nothing to complain about now. You gonna get it. You get your Persona 5 game now. Yeah. Is it coming to PC?
I don't know.
That's odd that it doesn't come to PC. That's kind of odd right
Hold
there.
on. Oh, PS4 and Switch.
Oh. Well, shoot.
For Scramble or Royale?
No, Scramble.
Scramble.
Royale's exclusive to PlayStation 4. And another game I wanted to get. Oh yeah, I know it's not a completely new game, but it's Mega Man ZX and Zero Collection. I've never really played those games all the way forward back in the day, and that was pretty much the only Mega Man games I didn't get to play. But I'm hoping that I get to play that game, that collection now, so I can get the conclusion to Mega Man ZX, because the world got to be reset.
Yeah, sadly, I've never touched a Mega Man title in my life. I've only seen gameplay footage of Mega Man Battle Network, the tactical RPG,
You
but other than that, I've never played a Mega Man game in my life.
you need to change that.
Yes.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like that Mega Man is probably one of the best gaming franchises of all time. Point blank.
Wait, that's a lie. I've only played Mega Man 3 on a friend's computer. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah. Mega Man is definitely one of those games you need to get. You can actually get the Legacy Collection, get the whole 9.
Oh yeah, the Legacy Collection in X. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
good things about the X games.
Yeah, Mega Man X, especially Mega Man X, is amazing. Amazing franchise. Mega Man.
Are they fun games?
What'd you say?
Sorry, are they fun?
Fuck
I
yeah,
might buy. I've never thought about buying.
Oh.
fuck yeah, they're fun. What are you talking? This is not on my podcast. Saying, is Mega Man fun? Get the fuck out of my podcast.
I've never heard of Mega Man.
You
Oh,
okay? Stop.
dang.
Stop,
Like Ash.
stop trolling. Stop trolling. Like, is somebody trolling right now?
I'm serious. Well, Smash. Smash is the only place I know Mega Man from.
What?
Serious.
Oh man, you got to get in on that, man. Fast-paced
Mega Man
moment
11
to
looks
moment.
fun.
I know, yeah, you got to get on that fast-paced moment-to-moment gameplay. Nothing ever stops in Mega Man, well, from the footage I've seen at least. But I'm talking like I played the game. But
If you can see my face right now. Whew. Okay. Okay. I damn near had an aneurysm when I heard that. Both of y'all saying y'all know Mega Man from only the Smash Bros.
Oh man, I only played Mega Man 3 on friend's computer, and I vaguely even remember
D3
what it was like. But other than that, everything's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, this does look good.
Yeah, but Mega Man Zero is
Mega Man's
yeah, but Mega Man Zero, oh my god, man, that game was beautiful. It pretty much is like the combination of everything that's good about Mega Man and just turns it up like 10 times longer. Like 10 times, you know, it's like it's a Mega Man game, but it's like insanely hard, but it's worthwhile. And Mega Man ZX is pretty much like
That's
Mega Man, but like a Metroidvania.
but rewarding. And from with my limited knowledge of Mega Man, I at least can ascertain that. But yeah,
Yeah, man, Mega Man is definitely one of the franchises you need to get. You know, it's one of the franchises you need to enjoy because that game set the bar for what 2D action games could be.
oh, it did. Yeah,
Yeah.
read about the history of it and everything.
Hold on, let me post a gameplay trailer of this in the general chat.
I'm looking at the I'm looking at GameStop listings for the Legacy Collection right now. I know it was very cheap the last time I'd seen it at my GameStop.
You can also get it on PS. It's on. They're on pretty much anything.
It's
Yeah, the Legacy collections are on the Wow, it's on the 3DS as well.
oh, now this I did not know. Yeah, $15.
Yeah, so like all the
Pretty
Legacy.
cheap for Switch.
Yeah. Yep. So you can get Mega Man Legacy 1 and 2 and Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 on pretty much anything. So I encourage everybody to get those because those are the best. And also,
Oh, I will.
and also, oh, I know, but Mega Man 11 is also worthwhile playing.
Gotcha. Whew.
Oof. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have at the top of my head right now. I know I could list more, but it's like I pretty much need a second job to play those games.
I gotta get a job
And
now.
you will need to get a third job
Yep.
for all these crazy titles coming out this year.
Yeah, so 2020 is gonna be a god tier year for video games. I know that for sure. It's gonna be a god tier year. So yeah, I think we can end this podcast right now. Anything else anybody want to say before we exit?
Good, but yeah.
Nah.
All right. So yeah, good podcast, episode 3. You know, like to keep it nice and fun. Anybody else want to promote themselves before they go?
Shameless plug, but subscribe to my channel. It's Lunar Nocturne on YouTube.
Okay.
Subscribe to my Twitter. I'll subscribe to follow me on Twitter at Mineral Garbo because if you like yaoi traps, me arguing with furries
Whoa.
about Shoda, then yes.
So you want somebody to
that.
subscribe to a life experience? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. D3.
Huh? I have nothing to promote.
All right.
All right. I'll leak y'all stuff in the description tomorrow. But yeah, good.
Yeah, I'll send you.
Yeah. So yeah, good podcast. This is Blast HD here. I'd like to thank everybody for joining this podcast. You know, like talking, shooting shit. And you know, I hope to do more fun podcasts like these. I don't like to do all these ranty podcasts all the time. So yeah, stay tuned. You know, we might do more podcasts pretty soon. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. You know, and have a good night. Have a good rest of the night. So yeah, good night.
All right then.
All right, everybody's dismissed. Goodbye.
Say again.
No, we good. We good. All right.
All right.
Yay.
Okay.
That was fun.
That was fun. Oh man, I have to get my wisdom teeth taken out in 7 hours. This is
Oh.
Good lord.
Yep. Yeah,
this is gonna be.
Yeah. I don't know what that's like
Alright.
getting wisdom teeth put out, man, but you know.
Well,
I have to
it's
get I need to
not.
get a few fillers.
It's not. I got my wisdom tooth pulled, and I got a canine pulled before. It's not as bad. Like they, as long as you even if you're have a higher tolerance for the numbing medication, they give you the proper dosage, and it just feels like you're just gonna feel like really, it's gonna feel like pressure in your mouth, and then as soon as they pull it, it's because they're gonna be putting you on like laughing gas, and then you're gonna have the numbing medicine, so you won't feel it. It'll just feel like pressure. It'll feel like you're like about to submerge underwater, and then once it's out, it'll bleed a lot, but they're gonna immediately give you like enough medication so that it won't hurt, and as long as you take it within the prescribed amount of time, like the minute before you're supposed to take it on that hour, then you won't feel the pain, and you just keep the pressure on where they're gonna pull it, and the bleeding stops the next day. So
Yeah, my mom had get a root canal actually. She had to pretty much get the entire tooth pulled out, and she was been dealing with it for a long time. So it's like I understand exactly what you're saying, but it's like I personally never really had to experience major tooth problems because I usually just brush my damn teeth every night and day. So it's
yeah.
it's like and speaking of that, man, I might have to go to the dentist, man. Pretty soon.
Oh man, and yeah, I got I already know it's not going to be that bad, but oh man.
Oh, can I ask you the question?
still gives you anxiety.
Oh, okay.
What podcast is it?
Podcast?
Oh, this
I came here through the link on Twitter.
Oh, well, this is the Hot Button Podcast right here.
Could you give me a link, please?
To the podcast?
Yeah.
Well, all right, sir. Hold on. Introduce yourself.
Hello. My
Still
name
gives
is
you-
Nikolai.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm
Your actual
here through the
Podcast?
oh, this
through the Chris
I came
wants
here
to write a
through the
Star
link on,
Wars
Twitter.
Twitter he made about men, how disgusting they are, and I'm seeing this. There is a shitstorm happening, and there was a link on your channel by MR Restart, someone on Twitter.
Oh, so somebody leaked my podcast? Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah, he gave this Discord channel, so
all right. Well, I'm
I
getting,
just
I'm getting a little bit famous here, huh?
Yeah.
You.
All right. And that's that Recess Era Takes guy.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I've seen him before. Pretty cool dude.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, unfortunately, pal, we pretty much at the end right now. You came here a little bit too late, but you know what? You can join us on Discord. We'll have you on next time. Is that cool?
what will be the next time?
I don't know really the next time. I usually do this on a sporadic note, so I usually start at pretty much like 11 or 10 o'clock, but yeah,
Eastern time.
yeah, Eastern time. But yeah, you're welcome to you're free to come in and join anytime you want.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm mostly for the sake of it. I'll just listen most of the times. I'm not great into speaking English, by the way, so
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
it's like I need a bit of practice.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
the more voices I have on my podcast, the better.
But what is it? Is it about most of the times?
It's mostly about gaming and current events. That's all it's about.
No. What does it think about this guy? It's like he just appeared in my Twitter feed, and he's like a very crazy person. It's like,
Well, there's a lot of crazy people on Twitter, man. You're gonna have
Um,
to narrow that down.
where can I post the links on these people?
Well, you can.
Just now,
General.
I do.
Yeah, you
Or
can.
Uh-huh.
no, Twitter. Twitter, what is it called? Twitter trash or whatever? The channel you have?
Twitter bullshit. All right. So there's
Yeah,
the first guy I saw on a Twitter feed, and the second one is this, and they're just talking trash. It's just awful.
About who?
And one of them is just spoiling right away this is new season of Clone Wars out.
Oh, sorry about my typing. Anyway.
It's like feels it is already out, and he's just fucking spoiling this shit away. Like
You
it
would
just
have pronouns.
Yeah, he has pronouns.
Oh no.
He, him, because we couldn't obviously see that.
Whew. Man, listen. If I
Oh man,
if,
he is
if, if,
spoiling.
if I had to basically go after these pronoun people, I would probably get my shit shut down on Twitter. So,
Los Angeles is a no-fly zone for me.
right, that's an instant block right there.
Why do people on the West even using this? It just feels awkward for the person who just out of that Western block sphere.
Yeah, the people who put pronouns in their name, they're pretty much like, these rich middle class type people who just only use those pronouns just to get attention. They're using it as a replacement for like a personality. So I don't know why these people do it either. It's just
Well, originally, pronouns in bio was like a way for like it was a niche thing for like trans users who were legit like had dysphoria could keep people from like misgendering them for obvious reasons, not to trigger their dysphoria and things like that. But then it became this whole fad with the trans trending and all that mess.
yeah.
So
And then
now everybody and their mom has pronouns now, and it's like,
and it's
why?
is exactly, and it's to the point now where you're pretty much being forced to use those now.
Yeah, like there are people on Twitter who literally say if you don't put pronouns in your bio, you're disrespecting fans.
Right, and
No.
and if you see those games done quick speed running session.
Oh yeah, GDQ.
Yeah, I saw this.
They pretty much had to force you to do that. It's like, come on now. It's like it's one thing to respect somebody, if they want to be, if they just want to be identified as a different person, but just to force people to do it, that's not cool, man.
I remember that crazy trans guy who is into how is it called? The thing that babies wear when they're young.
Well,
Diapers.
Yeah,
I would know.
He's into diaper fetish, and he was just
Oh,
crazy.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. I don't want to get too deep into that, but yeah.
Unicorn
Yeah.
or what is her nickname? I just don't remember.
I carry a machete with my on my person everywhere I go.
Oh boy, I wouldn't know too much about that, pal. But yeah. There's just a lot of crazy. There's just a lot of crazy people on Twitter these days, man. It's to the point now. I feel like social media has just become like it's become a failed experiment, pretty much.
Oh man,
it's a failed social experiment.
We're having here people who got influenced by this agenda, and they try to apply this to our country, and it like feels very disconnected. It's clear that those people just want to feel special about themselves by doing that.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't have black slaves in our country. It's like one of our greatest poets were Pushkin. It's like he was a black person.
Well,
he was.
What country are you from? If you don't mind.
Russia.
What?
Oh, Russia.
Ah.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm known in Russia now.
And it's like absolutely everyone thinks that those people are crazy just because it's like they try to bully the ballerinas, classical Russian ballerinas, for them making black face. And the thing is, we don't have mostly black people here. So if you need to portray a black person, there's no way about it,
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels crazy. Just
well,
like it's racism, but why is it racism? Because of the slavery. Why? We didn't have slavery.
Well, here's the history of that. The main reason why blackface is such a big deal is because of this little thing called we had minstrel shows where black people weren't really allowed to like be in like major roles in terms of like theater or movies or stuff like that, at least in America, right? So what they used to do is they used to paint their face like white. You have white actors that basically pretty much paint their faces black, like shoe polish or some other dark material, and they used to act like very racist caricatures of said black people. So that's
For
the
Yeah,
main
sure.
so
reason why.
I saw something pretty much racist, but it's like when those kind of people just try apply this
To
very same
everything,
shit
it's
on
like
everything, it just feels awful. And it's like our Russian ballerinas were banned just because uh, black ballerina in USA just um, started this drama. Like, oh shit,
yeah,
these girls are racist, and just they just got banned. And it's like all Russians just felt just some rage just because there was no reason to that.
yeah.
It
I
was
noticed a
crazy.
lot of
There's a lot of
specifically in your country that there's like a lot of because I know a lot of Russian cosplayers who like to do like makeup with characters who are brown and they'll go that extra mile to look like the character and they're often like the Western cosplay community will go after them and I'm like
it's mostly just for it's mostly for attention and just starting drama just for the sake of strong drama. What you
yeah.
have to understand is that Twitter is not a reflection of real life. Twitter is mostly dominated by a bunch of middle class white women, pretty much. So they're gonna be the most vocal about a lot of things, and ultimately, is this? Yes, black people. I mean, we're. I don't know if you noticed, but most of us are black in this
Yeah.
podcast.
You're black?
Yeah, I know you can't tell
I'm
by our
black.
voice, but
Yeah.
I just could not guess. Sorry.
yeah,
It's
Well,
fine.
yeah.
the endless amount
Not
of
all.
Blackout 2 games I was in back then, people thought I was white. It,
People think I'm white too for some reason, or people think I'm like
It's like
15.
there's a very I don't know. Maybe you just don't hear that because you're just
about to go.
Americans. Americans just get used to it, right?
Yeah,
But it's like there is a very strong difference between different people in different regions from your country
right.
that just speak absolutely different, and this most of the time just applies to blacks and Indians. It just feels that way, but
Yeah, but
like most of the times, it just it doesn't feel that way.
yeah,
It's just absolutely normal manner of speech.
well, yeah, there are definitely regional dialects when it comes to speech here in the United States. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
everybody here comes. It pretty much is like every part of the country is pretty much its own different culture. You know, like for example, I'm from the Midwest, so I'm gonna have a little bit of a country accent, pretty much. Much more humble way of speaking. I know somebody down south might
I
have
like
a
I'm
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say I was from the south. Like I'm from the south, like the deep south, like Bible Belt South, Georgia, Florida, all that. It's like I don't sound like I have any sort of. Well, people tell me that I sound. They don't sound like I have any sort of southern accent. But like I live in the region where it doesn't sound like it at first, but when we really get into the twang, it starts to come out. So it's like, and then there are people like on TV, like the black people on TV you see who speak like mostly Ebonics and things like that. Like there's parts of that in certain places, in places of the United States. There's like certain parts of that too, but it's like not all black folks sound
Yeah, not all black
like
folks sound like that.
you're raised in the voice. Like,
Yeah, we're most of us pretty much, we don't we do share a commonality when it comes to, racial relations and stuff like that, but we don't none of us think in a hive mind. We're all individuals right here.
It's a good thing to hear because it's just
And I want
it's
to.
very bad when people act like ants when just they attack together someone and just rip them apart, no matter how much this um, how to put it in the right way. No matter how much this person diverges from your opinion,
mhm.
it's like
Hmm.
it's a very good thing to hear because most of the times this people just make those communities and they just don't allow different speeches into it, and it's just
Yeah.
absolutely bad
Yeah,
thing.
most of this stuff is pretty much dominated by overprivileged college students here in the United States, and from what I've gathered, that most of the people who starts all this stuff are pretty much people who never really experienced the real world.
Yeah, that's the most awful thing, just because they
Yeah,
make all these assumptions about people, like generalizations about big groups of people that just people are not bad just because some people in those communities are bad, and it's
yeah.
fucking bad.
So like I said, like Twitter is definitely not like a resemblance of the real world. Like when I like, for example, I'm gonna say a lot here, but I live in Chicago, Illinois, right?
Hmm.
It's pretty much for the most part a very centrist state. I mean, it's probably the most liberal part of the Midwest, but it's pretty much very centrist. And what I've noticed when I go outside is that most normal people don't really think about this shit in real life. You know, when you go outside, when you talk to people, you don't really hear a lot of this stuff. It's mostly stayed on Twitter and on social media. So when I have to say this though, for anybody
Hmm.
listening across the world here, I just want to say that I mostly apologize for like how we're seen in across the world, because we're not like this. We don't act like these entitled social justice warriors right here. Especially people of different backgrounds, like me and Mineral right here. We're mostly just very nice normal people who just want to talk about video games. That's all.
There's a fun thing. We have a dictatorship in our country. It's like uh, originally in our constitution there was a writing that a law that a, that a president must not stay in his position more than 2 times.
Yeah.
So our president just did the following thing. Uh, he was 2 times president. Then his friend, Puppet, became a president, and he returned. So for now it is his fourth try, and after that, just check this out. We have a few options. He will rewrite the um, constitution
Yeah.
Mhm.
just to allow him to have unlimited amount of presidencies, or he will create a how to translate this. It's like we have a term "союзное государство," which means that our two Belarusia and Russia will just collapse into one country and just become uh,
Become like China,
even
right?
bigger. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and it will allow Putin to stay longer, and he has uh, anti-liberal rhetoric in news propaganda,
Yeah.
and every example of crazy actions of liberals, of conservatives, like that black people must get killed, like borders must be closed, white people
Mhm.
must be killed. It's like men are evil and they just must get rid of their penises and balls and all that shit. uh, it gets shown on the news, and most
Mhm.
of the people, at least from 2010 up to 2016, where by the sanctions, our rebels, our money just became cheaper. I
Mhm.
just can't translate it very good.
Yeah. Well,
So
you're okay.
our people started to believe that it's it's like we shouldn't believe all this news, but still there's a big amount of people who still believe this, and your um, inner controversies just keep people believing this, that liber- became become liberal is bad.
Yeah.
So they still want that dictatorship alive in our country, and it feels just fucking bad, just because uh, we are very close to have the big wall, established around our country. So it will prevent us from having a good internet, from having foreigner newspapers, all
Hmm.
that shit. And will just become something like China, just but even worse.
Yeah, see, a lot of these fucking SJWs think that we're living in the fastest dictatorship when they have no idea like what's going on in places like China and what you say Russia. You're from Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of people don't understand how freaking good they have it. All these lame ass celebrities, talking about how we live in a fascist dictatorship and how Orange Man bad.
Oh, fuck them.
And it's
Fuck
like
them.
it's like
It's like
it's like Trump is pretty much the only one keeping us from being in a freaking dictatorship right now. Now I don't like Trump as much as the next guy. I'm not gonna say that. But what I will say this though is that the dude, for the most part, is making the right moves, man. He's making the right moves. He's keeping pretty much his country out of harm's way. And right now, it's like we ought to be glad that we live in a country where we can at least choose whatever political ideology we want, and you can say whatever you want, and you can make whatever you can pretty much make whatever content you want without limitations or things like that. And
it's a swamp, but it moves at least somewhere, and you have a most stable economics from what
right,
I've seen.
and
It's
not
like
only
you
that, it's like we have most of the it's like the United States produce a lot of great content out of it, just entertainment content in general.
Yeah. Just because of your people just allowed to do this. It's
Right.
like if you open, for example, the gaming studio, you just have to pay a lot of taxes
Well, no,
just just for the
Don't
sake
even
of
have to
it.
pay taxes.
well, actually, in the United States, most entertainment companies are either in Texas or in California, and especially
Just
in,
because
And
in
of the
Atlanta
taxes,
yeah,
right?
yeah, but especially in Texas, like there's pretty much no taxation at all over there, none.
and Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
probably not because you just have to pay it, right? It's because, for example, our what is your typical way? How much people just get from the work per month, for example?
Well,
Just for example, a person who works in a McDonald's,
I know that most McDonald's, at least where I'm at in Illinois, the minimum wage is pretty much $11 an hour.
$11 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh
Eleven
man.
fifty an hour. That's the minimum wage over here.
In the southern, in right to work states, minimum wage is as low as
Damn. Okay.
So
In Illinois, it's finna go up like $13 an hour.
For example, in our country, it's very fucking low. It's like 1.66 dollar for hour,
Ooh,
Wow.
that's
and
waitress
Woo.
wage.
it's like people can live with this amount of money. It's like it's possible, but if you try to run a company that would try to make something like cartoons, games, etc., you have to pay the same amount that will people get in, I don't know, in a China, in the USA somewhere.
Y-
Just
Hmm.
yeah.
it's just mind blowing. It's impossible to create
And
something
and,
when you
and
just don't have a lot of money.
and not only that, it's like
Hmm.
the states takes most of your profits. Like all it
Yeah.
takes everything. That's why most Chinese developers don't. That's why most Chinese game developers don't really come out with that many new IP because it's just they're just gonna take the whole thing. They're just gonna take the whole assets and stuff. And again, like I don't want to sit here and brag about the United States because we're not perfect either. But it's like at least we can go ahead and make our own games and not have to worry about paying a boatload of money just to play a video game. I mean, make a video game. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like video games are expensive to make no matter what, or something of that nature. But it's to the point now where American companies to make it easier for you to just create your own content in literally the comfort of your own house. You don't have to leave.
Like, I understand where you're coming from with what you're saying about how, like, because we're capitalists, so
Right.
we base things on money. We base things on the value of the consumer, as opposed to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in Russia, like, if you're trying to do anything sort of independent, like like a lot of the people, like with what Usage was talking about, where the like SJWs complain about our country, they complain about Trump, they complain about how our politics are this, and that. They
Yeah.
have a say in complaining about our politics. Like
Right.
the literal hypocrisy of like standing communism and socialism and
Right.
things like that, while ironically living in a country where you can freely oppose the government as long as you're not calling to action or anything,
Not only that,
versus like
I mean, not only that,
Do
you're
you know?
tweeting from their like their $1,000 iPhones or their $400 like Android phones, and it's like you do know without that capitalism, you wouldn't even have the internet service you can to complain about Orange Man bad. So I really don't understand why this whole rise of communism is happening, because it's like these people don't understand is that co- well, not to get too heavy on here. It's just I'll just say this: communism is not good for anybody. It's just not.
The saddest thing is that our people want communists get back to the power just because, and they idolize Stalin or Trotsky,
yeah.
or people generally hate Khrushchev just because he was very soft. People hate for how his name. He was a leader for 18 years. Um, Let me just. I always forget his name. Just he wasn't something very good just because. Um, Hold on. Так, вожди СССР. Список руководителей. Brezhnev.
Yeah.
People hate Brezhnev. People hate Khrushchev. People just don't know who is Malenikov. Uh,
Mhm.
People don't know who is Andropov, Chernenko. People absolutely hate Gorbachev just because they think that he ruined the Soviet
Mhm.
Union.
Union.
But
Mhm.
people idolize Lenin just because he is a person of a myth. People don't know who he is. People
Yeah.
didn't read his writings. It's absolutely awful. People
Yeah.
Mhm.
don't know who is Stalin, the same very thing, but they idolize them just because uh,
Yeah.
They're
they
seen as great leaders in the
they
eyes of
And here's the crazy thing: is the main reason why most of these young people are standing communism is mostly because their college professors indoctrinated them with that too. It's like the education system is over here in the United States is being overtaken by these people. And again, not to get too political here, but the college education, at least academia over here, especially higher learning, has pretty much become absolutely irrelevant. It's like most people are not even going to college anymore. It's because like, what's the point? You're putting yourself in debt. You're basically coming up much dumber than you were when you came in, and pretty much it's like it's like you get all this debt. You don't have really nice job prospects. So what do these losers do? They stand communism to no end, hoping that they can get something worth a damn.
well, the
well, I think
communism
it's oh no,
well,
continue.
communism allows people to think like in this manner. I don't love the current state of my country just because this and that. Maybe most of the times they have genuine feelings about that, and it's most always it's like very good feelings. They want something good for their country, but to achieve that, they want to kill people who they hate genuinely. They
Mhm.
Yeah.
just hate those people.
Uh,
And
uh,
communism started on the blood. It was founded on
Mhm.
this,
yeah.
and it just allows this mindset of these people don't agree with me with my tactics. Just kill them.
And where do we see
Mhm.
and where does that sound familiar? That sounds awfully familiar with the rhetoric going on Twitter with these SJWs. If we
Yeah, it's like
if you don't
it's just easy
if you
to
don't
kill
agree
Rich.
if you
someone.
don't agree with me, if you don't think of the same way I do, what do you do? Well, not to call for blood, but what do you what happens? you're canceled.
There's literally people on Twitter saying "eat the rich." Like, are you crazy? Like,
Like, first of all, I don't think rich people will taste that very good.
like
The
they're
funny
taking an old political comic from like the 1920s when the whole, I guess you could even say meme, the whole joke about rich people being fat because like in about royal times when you were considered how wealthy based on how much you ate, which they were all dying of health problems at that point. Like they're taking something like that and saying, guys, we should eat the rich because they're making money. Like,
Yeah.
Do you want? It's like my look. We have those people who just get to the government. They work for them, and
mhm,
they're pretty much corrupt.
mhm,
And
Well, our government's
the
corrupt
only
too.
salvation people see in our country is just to get someone like Lenin. Lenin hated those corrupt people in the government that was established.
mhm,
Those Russian Empire. He
mhm,
hated that. People hated that, and just like they destroyed them easily. And people want something. The same thing happen here, but uh, we have a very interesting situation. Do you know who is Mira? She's a streamer on Twitch.
yeah,
No,
I'm more of her.
no.
It's the funniest. She's just fun streamer. She's just a slut who just show her boobs. She talks
Mhm,
nicely to the boys in the stream chat just to get money off of them.
mhm.
Uh,
Eat
she
that.
she she just acts like she just treat people like a shit,
Mhm,
and people just were laughing about that. Do you know what the funniest thing about her? She is a daughter of our corrupted governor in Russia.
Yep.
And when we all discovered that, we all just it's like it's our corrupt government people. They act the same way to the others, just to pedestrians.
mhm.
Just
Civilian.
look how she acts. You will see just the daughter of a governor who just uh, stolen so much money from his lands. That is just the most poorest part of our country, and people just want to do everything they can just to overthrow this government. But in your country, as it seems to me, uh, it's like those people they are just losers most of the times. They just haven't
Yeah.
achieved anything, and they have that self-hatred. Like I haven't done anything. Those
Yeah,
people just achieve
most of
stuff.
these people have like major anxiety problems and major mental issues, as you clearly display on
Anxiety
Twitter.
problems is not a big thing, but they um, mental issues. So a lot of them are psychopaths.
Mhm,
It's like they just hate people just because they live, they do their favorite stuff, and they are richer than them.
That's what.
They
That's
feel that
yeah.
exact. That.
self-hatred, and the only way
Yep.
how they feel to inflict that on the other people is communism. They want to
Mhm.
burn that. They want to start a
Yep.
new life, and
Mhm.
by starting this, they want just become a king from the zero. That it's
Mhm.
that mentality on the basic level.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Pretty much
Yep.
this. It's like I'm just gonna say this.
They just want to. They want to be seen as because they haven't gotten anything accomplished in life, and I get it
Yeah.
because college is basically a scam here over here. I'm not sure how it is over in your country, but
Yeah.
basically
It is a
college is
scam.
just a business.
It's a scam.
It's basically a business that wants to shell out money, make good on sports teams. They don't care about the education. You could literally, there are so many people I know who've gone to college who literally cheated their way through college just because they could pay the tuition. They've gotten, it's basically a free ride out of college.
right.
So
My
it's not really about the education.
And here's the thing. Most people over here in this country are starting to realize that since college is a scam, they're gonna go ahead and start a trade. Like most people over here can go to school for a trade or like a business and make more money than even someone with a PhD. And
Mhm.
unless you're going to college for like say being a doctor or lawyer or an engineer or a scientist or whatnot, it's like you're not. It's like those college degrees aren't worth anything anymore. Maybe back then, maybe back in the day when college was actually like you could actually get by on a high school diploma. It's like if you want to get to like a major company or whatnot, yeah, you might have to get a degree, but these days it's like nobody like you can like a college degree is almost worthless now because everybody has them.
Well, depending on the degree, because like there was even like in like 2012 there was this huge intake of like majors in like psychology. Like for whatever reason, I guess their little college their counselors from high school were telling them that psychology was a good major to go into because it was the closest thing to at the time like entrepreneurially type work, but at the same time still having enough demand, because at the time there's like the whole supply and demand. There wasn't enough
And plus
psychologists at
and
the
plus
time,
and plus
so they were trying to get people. Huh?
yeah, and plus we were coming off a recession too, so anybody was looking for that hot ticket.
Yeah, so it was that whole thing, but then it got to the point where there were so many people taking psychology, the market was getting flooded. So people were out of work. It's same with the gender studies thing. I don't even know why gender studies is
I don't know why
considered
gender
a in
studies is
certain
even a
degree.
thing.
Well, certain degree, I understand why gender studies is a thing because we're still learning about the mechanisms of transgenderism and things like that, which is something that's very important in our country to a degree,
Yeah,
with
but
dysphoria and things like that,
yeah,
and
but
medical necessity. But they require medical necessity in order to have like
right,
it's actually go into a deep dive of gender studies. But like people are just taking general like social gender studies class and they think that they know everything.
yep.
And like they're mad because they can't get a job because they don't have communication skills, they don't have other qualifications, they didn't take a minor. So
And
they're angry and they're lashing out at people, and to project that they're like, "Okay guys, I'm a loser, I want everybody else to be a loser with me." And that's also a mentality in the black community as well. Like, you
oh,
can't be successful if you're not shelling out all of your money to the poor black people who decided not to do anything with their life. Like, that's been a mentality in our country for, I don't know if it's in other races because I can't speak on other races, but I know specifically within the community, I have seen, like, some of my friends, like, literally their families guilt them into giving them money because, oh, you're at the top now and you think you can forget about us. It's like, no, I want you to be successful like I did. Why should I do all this work and then I get paid the same as somebody who did nothing? Like, they want that, but they don't want to have to go through the repercussions of what that would bring. They just want to be able to be not at the bottom. And it's like, that's not how this works. You work for what you get. Like,
okay. Um, well,
sorry, it gets heavy, but
um,
it really annoys me of people who like really get into communism and like
Those
they
people
think
are
it's the best thing in
entitled
the world.
to have something. It's just
Yeah.
so okay, I wanna I wanna turn this around back to the gaming angle about this. The
hmm
main reason why these game journalists are the way they are is because they don't really like video games. Let's be honest. Like um they pretty much are the same. They come from the same cloth. There's just a bunch of losers who can't really achieve anything. They're pretty much a lot of these dudes are failed journalists. They never really accomplished that much. So they went
you
to the
have
video game
to
industry.
you have to say which one exactly, just because there is a certain types of game journalists who are shitty in
Yeah,
their own kind of
yeah,
way.
the Kotaku, the Polygon,
Oh,
those
those
IGN, those people.
they don't like the games most of the times. Just it's like they came from the other industries.
Yeah,
For example, someone was writing about, I don't know, about gay stuff on some strange magazine. He just came to the Kotaku, and he has to write of those articles about gaming. But the only way he can write about this is about controversies.
yeah.
It's like I feel this goes that way. It's like he can enjoy something like Candy Crush. He is a gamer. He plays,
Yeah.
but
hmm
it's like you can enjoy, for example, I don't know, some strange arcade game, Super Meat Ball, for example. you can just spend a lot of time into this and become good at that.
Yeah.
But
A,
you
lo- a,
know,
lo- a lot of the
the game feels hard. It's like it's shitty. The fandom who I talk to, they just act like ass towards me. They just call me a fucking retard for not getting how the game works.
oh boy.
It's like toxic fandom. It's shit.
They did
That
the same.
shit.
They did the same thing to Cuphead too. They're calling it racist. They call it, is reminiscent of racist caricatures. You know, this one article that they talked about. What's it called? Monster Hunter World talking about is about colonialism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't read that.
yeah. It's yeah. It
They just pull these notions out of their ass just to make it. They focus more on exploitative type of journalism than just saying the facts. Like, hey guys,
Well,
this game is kind of hard for me, but if you're such, you're X, Y, and Z, then this game might be for you if you're really looking for a challenge. Instead, they throw this whole thing of like, oh, Cuphead's based on old cartoons from like the 50s. Okay, guys, so there were some racist cartoons in the 50s. This is racist now. Like,
well,
yeah.
they want to create a clickbait articles to gain as much revenue as possible from the ads. The only way how to conquer this is just forget for their existence once and for all.
That's what
But
that.
people don't want that. People want to express their hatred towards those retards who say nasty things about their precious games. It's like, it's a trap. It's the trap that we're all in. We just have to do this. Forget about them. Don't speak about them. But when they found a good spot on the body where to put the stick on, just you don't like when people shit on something you love,
Yeah.
and that's the nasty thing. People will still react to this. It's trap.
Well, here's the thing. Most of these game journalists are slowly going out of work. We're seeing most of these websites, they're basically shutting down. It's because nobody likes them anymore. Nobody frequents their stuff anymore. I can't remember the last time I even went to any of these journalist websites outside
Yeah,
of like an
some
archive.
game journalists go to jail after a Gamergate.
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
But we're not gonna speak on that end. But pretty much, man, it's like these game journalists, they're losing their relevance, and there's nothing more we can do about them. Just sit back and just watch the ship sink. Just sit back, watch the ship sink. And the most positive thing I have to take away from this, because I want to close this out, is that
mm-hmm.
we're seeing the apex of this woke outrage culture. This is the beginning of the end, and 2020 is pretty much it's gonna be the end of the woke culture. It's gonna be end of all of this, outrage, and we're seeing that right now. The first 15 days of 2020 pretty much has been a reaction to all of this nonsense. We got the new guy meme. You saw that meme on Twitter, the new guy meme. We saw,
New guy,
yeah,
let me check this out.
yeah,
New guy meme.
This comic strip artist
Oh
who,
yeah,
yeah,
I saw this.
yeah.
I saw
and
this. It's like people will fucking laughing their asses of that absolutely crazy woman. It's like, how can you treat a absolutely normal person with this amount of hatred?
well, yeah, but here's the thing. Like that character is a symbol going forward in a new decade. It's like we're seeing Ricky Gervais call out these woke assholes in Hollywood, telling them to stop preaching to us and start entertaining us. And we're seeing Dave Chappelle call out we're seeing Dave Chappelle basically took a sledgehammer to this bullshit, and it's like the cracks are showing. Star Wars is failing. Doctor Who is failing. Terminator is failing. All of these woke, interpretations are failing, and you got things like the dude with James Bond that's becoming woke,
Well,
that's gonna fail.
I
And
don't find the idea of, if you try to put it nicely, right? The idea of people must be equal, people just don't be shitty towards each other.
No,
Like,
that's
you
not a
know,
bad
it's
message. That's not what we're talking about. It's like
yeah,
it's
but they turn it into racist shit.
right,
And
Mhm.
the most of the times, even if you can put it nicely, but they have a very shitty writers on the shows just because they can't put one to one together. It's like the plots are usually just flawed. There's not much thought put into it. They just like game journalists. They don't care about this. They just want to put the shit and let people eat that.
right. And what
That's the main problem. How the Doctor Who series just became shit.
right. And you
Mhm.
know what? It's good that you said it because we're starting to see that all these legacy media franchises is basically go out. It's like they're done. They're not as good as they used to be, and it become the result of corporate bloat. So we're just gonna have to say, you know what? That's fine. We're gonna walk away, and we're gonna find new things to get excited about. It's like you look at Marvel Comics and you see the disaster that thing is going to be. People are walking away from that, especially
Aren't people just keep coming to the Marvel? I'm not looking into Marvel or DC films. I'm not interested. But isn't it still popular?
yeah, but you know, as all things go, it's like it's a fad. It's pretty much it's going out of style. It's not gonna be popular 10 years from now. It's not. It's what I can
Well,
say. This is that has anybody heard of My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
yeah.
That
I'm a stan that show so hard.
yeah, I can
I
see
love
that.
that
But
show.
that show has become that series has become more of a superhero series than the entirety of modern like Marvel comic books or Marvel
Naruto
original.
Barter is still better.
Uh,
Who? Did you say Baruto? Naruto's son? Or
Yeah. I'm just joking.
we go. That's debatable. We gonna have to talk about that one.
listen, nothing can beat One Piece, and I have spoken.
Oh yes, nothing can beat.
So yeah. So what I'm saying is that people are finding new things to look to. They're looking for the traditional stories again. They're looking for their stories of good versus evil. Uh, the concept of doing
Nuance.
right. Yeah, the nuance writing, and
Mhm.
ultimately, people are just gonna look back at this woke shit and just say that man, that was cringe. And you look at Star Wars. Last thing, you look at Star Wars. You look at all the current year politics that they tried to inject in it, and it's like that made it more dated than even the films that came out in the 70s. It's like
Well, let's be more honest. The film failed just because they have a very shitty writing.
right,
It's like if they put this narrative, like you that was in Last Jedi, for example, that you should obey the authority, like this male protagonist should obey that pink-haired girl.
yeah,
It's like it could be written better, and people would get the idea, but
Mhm.
their unprofessionalism just fails them everywhere.
yeah. Well, this goes outside the film because most of the showrunners and the writers of Star Wars have pretty much taken their politics, their outside politics, and they said on record that they put more of a I don't know a feminist thing. They put this into Star Wars now, and it shows. And you know what?
Yeah, it shows, right?
Yeah, it shows. But you know what? A lot of people are just moving away, and they're either watching something else new, or they're just gonna sorry they're just gonna create their own stuff, which we're seeing right now. We're seeing a lot of people create their own works, and some of them are actually coming out with their own comic books and their own animation stuff. You saw that show Has Been Hotel?
Yep.
Anybody you seen it? Where Murloc?
Call me Nico.
Oh, Nico. Okay. All right, Nico. You seen this video called Has Been Hotel?
I haven't. Let me check this out. Maybe.
By Viz V Pop.
Yeah.
And she also did another one called Hell of a Boss.
How is it called again?
Has Been
Has
Hotel.
Has been
been.
Hotel with a Z.
Yeah,
All right, right. I'm seeing.
and that's
Uh, it's a short film, right?
yeah, it's a short film.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 30 minutes.
Pilot. Mm-hmm.
That was
There's like whole holidays, Hiluva boss. It's
Mm-hmm.
like which one should I click on?
Has been Hotel, because that's the main one.
yeah. I
Uh,
don't know if your I don't know if the Russian government is
no,
gonna let you with that.
I'm checking the. I wrote it in the English way. I'm just seeing a different
Yeah, but
titles. It's
I don't know if the Russian the internet is gonna let you see that.
oh yeah, no, no. Currently, it's like a different pages on the web are banned.
Mm-hmm.
We can access it through the proxies like such as Tor.
Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
got a VPN. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty much okay right now, but they are not banning Twitter, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Facebook is owned by our oligarch.
Yeah.
Mm.
Keep this in mind. So it will not be banned anyways.
Yeah.
YouTube is they have some sort of I don't know. It's like
They got some back deal
uh,
room deals. Okay, I get it.
yeah, yeah, it's like our political channels are getting banned. So it's like their views count are
Yeah.
getting down. I don't know how it
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it works anyways. Okay.
But
Oh shit! It's 31 minutes long.
yeah,
I'll
it's
check this later.
yeah, but it's pretty much an animated show, completely independent, made by pretty much a handful of people who pretty much did this over the course of 4 years, right? And
Mm.
that cartoon is way better than any of the shows we see nowadays. Like that view has exactly that cartoon has more views than even the first trailer of than most Star Wars trailers.
Well, my ex-wife is has watched the Steven Universe. For me, it felt like a very SJW thingy,
Yeah, this
like
is not
fe-
SJ.
female characters that they are just look sound like a female characters, but they are not. They are something like sex fluid. They
Yeah,
can
this,
uh, connect to each other, create some. It just
yeah, Has
for
Been
me it's
Hotel is not like that at all. Don't get me wrong, it deals with the LGBT stuff, but it deals with it in a way that you'll actually like it. It
Well,
yeah.
yeah, like it's just a show about like I'm not spoiling anything or anything. It's just basically a show.
just give me a short description of it. It's
So the
like
synopsis of the show is basically about the daughter of hell, the daughter of Satan wants to make a rehabilitatory type of like hotel for people in hell because this takes place in hell. And she wants to save people's souls, so she wants to make a hotel where people can be rehabilitated and eventually get into heaven. So it's a bus, but she has a bunch of misfit characters that she's kind of put along, and then there's this one like powerful demon from the underworld that like starts to help her, and that's basically the synopsis. But it sounds bad in theory, like,
But is
but
it
it's actually very good.
yeah.
Just
does it
like
feel
Hell of a
like
Boss.
does it feel like sitcom or it's
It's kind of a mixture of both. It's kind of like a sitcom, but it mostly it does have its slow moments, and it does feel more like a kind of like a story,
So
like a drama.
it it has the feel of like a sitcom, like something of like The Office mixed with old like 90s cartoons, animated cartoons like Ren and Stimpy, um uh what is it called? I just had it in my head. Like really old Nickelodeon-ish cartoons
mm,
from like the 90s. It has that sort of feel and that cartoony style and that fluid animation, and it has the sort of adult comedy equivalent to like Venture Brothers, Adult Swim, very base comedy, like early 2000s Adult Swim based
Yeah,
comedy.
and it has
well
Like
it has the nuance, kind of the nuanced drama of you know, uh, some anime. Actually, some nuanced drama of some anime, basically.
mm,
yeah.
it feels that this channel is run by amateurs just because it's absolutely shitty to navigate here. It's like speed rolls streams as it seems.
Well, her YouTube channel is like her basis. Like she's had the YouTube channel for years, and this is the only place she's been able to like let out the pilot because she's put clips out throughout the years. She did Q&As and things like that because she's really just putting this out there so that somebody can pick it up. Like she's hopefully
for the
trying to
sake
get.
of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like her drawing board database. Like all of her live streams, all of her speed draws, all of her drawings and other fan stuff that she used to do before Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss is all on there because it's like her YouTube channel, her workstation,
Right.
essentially.
That's what a lot of animators do now. They put their they have a YouTube channel and they pretty much put all their animations on like one spot over there just for the hopes of a network or some sort of company picks it up. And
Yeah, just documenting everything they've done.
right, and most animators now are pretty much pitching their stuff to Netflix now.
Oh,
Netflix, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
If they have if they will get to work with Netflix, they will get big.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah, you definitely should check it out though. It's a very nice show that pretty much put a lot of Western animation to shame, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll check this night. It's like I'm having a group chat with a few of my friends, and
Yeah.
we're just watching. It's like we are mainly playing Overwatch, and we watch something when we are not into playing. It's like we will check this out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yay.
It's definitely not. It's not some woke stuff. It's definitely
This and Hell of a Boss
Yeah.
because they're both in the same universe, but Hell of a Boss is separate from Has Been Hotel in the way that it's not piggybacking off of Has Been Hotel, but it's within the same world universe.
This puts most this puts most adult cartoons to shame. And I'm gonna leave you with this. Two of the main character is actually bisexual.
Oh, it's fine. I'm too.
Yeah, the main character is basically asexual, and one is gay. But they don't shove it in your face. They don't try to force you to say, "Hey, look at this. We're woke. We're this and that." It just happens. They're just people, just doing things.
Well, you know what's the funniest thing about all of that? It's like I have a few of gay friends, a few of bisexual friends, and it's like most of the times these shows are just afraid, to show this real talk. It's like we can easily call each other as faggots. It's
whoa! We can't say that on YouTube.
It's not a big deal here. Just beep me out of this.
Yeah.
And the problem with Western thing is like it's a no thing. You can't just call each other that way. And the real people, they tend to do that. And it's just dries off the shows by this way. It's like
Yeah, like if you look back, early 2000s animation in the US, they weren't afraid to go there. Like, especially adult animation. Like, I've just been re-binging Venture Brothers. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
I've definitely seen that show.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ventura Brothers.
Venture Bros, like Adventure, but Venture.
I saw this. It's like
it's basically a Johnny Quest parody. Pretty much.
Yeah, I saw that. It's like it always people tried our translators tried to sell this to the other people with James Ventura. It's like, people try to sell this by saying that this show is in the same universe and these boys are his sons. It's like, I always remind them this. Yeah, it's funny show. It's funny.
Yeah, so like they literally would go there. Like they tackled topics like pedophilia. They tackled topics like gay LGBT stuff. But like even though they joke about it, it still wouldn't be like super cringe.
They even talk
but
about
at the same time,
they even talk about like school shootings, drug usage.
Yeah, it's like
homelessness. It's like nowadays
Mhm.
cartoons are just way too safe. They're too coddled. That's why you have a whole bunch of generation of just children who freak out at most basic stuff.
Mhm.
I can say this. If you are creating the cartoon, uh, the most of the times the kids will want to watch it first. It's like it will be a very painful for a grown-up adult to watch, to start watching the animated cartoon.
Mhm.
And uh, it's like it's obvious why they are trying to make it child friendly. uh, but yeah, it's ruining the shows. It can ruin the show if you just try to make it for everyone. Absolutely.
Well,
I
here's the thing.
remember
Like
the
you,
show called 12 O's a Mouse.
yeah, that I remember that show. That was garbage to me.
12 Ounce Mouse
I
was hilarious.
I
It was so
fucking love this. I still love this music from the show,
bad.
especially
Whole
the
movies
intro.
is hilarious.
Squidbillies, I like that.
Yep. All of that early 2000s Metalocalypse. No,
Metalocalypse.
Metalocalypse was one of my favorite
Yep.
ones, though. But like all the early 2000 like Adult Swim animations, they went there. They C Lab 2020, like they all went there.
Aqua
They
Teen
weren't
Hunger
afraid to
Force.
bound. Yep, they
Oh
weren't
yeah,
afraid
yeah,
to
yeah.
the
We
bibble.
Yeah.
had the channel called 2x2, and
Mhm.
it first aired in 2004 or 2005. I just don't remember clearly, but I was a child back then, and
Mhm.
it basically aired the shows that people who run the channel liked, and they were adults and they watched
Mhm.
Adult Swim, and they translated every show back then that was airing at that moment at Adult Swim, like those grown-up channels. And I many of the kids my age just get used to this kind of humor. We like those shows, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's sad that today's it's like we're having,
That's why most of these kids freak out about, anime. It's like, bro, it's like most of these kids on Twitter mostly freak out about anime. Say, oh, you're
Well,
sexualizing minors. Oh, you're doing all this and that. It's like,
well, it's again, it has its own weight. It's like we have a lot of people who like lolicon, who like how's the reverse thing,
uh,
young boys.
yeah, yeah, Shotokan.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, shotakai. People like those kinds of things, and they have sexual attraction to that. It's it's like you can have they have the point. When you over sexualize things, it's bad. But yeah, I get your point too. Like
Yeah, but
it,
yeah,
it's not all about that.
yeah, but it's mostly just the most benign thing. You know why most of these teenagers just freak out about most basic stuff? It's not just anything
Like
Well,
like
serious.
like like what? Like what? Give me example. I just can't.
okay, so here's an example of what I think he's talking about is like, okay, so My Hero, going back to My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia is a shonen anime. Shonen
Yeah.
anime have the girls in the anime and manga, let's face it, they are all like, they have built bodies that are built maturely. Yaoyorozu in particular is, she's busty, she's very uh
How
you
old
know,
are they in the show?
15. Well, they start out at 15, I believe, and then as the series progresses to where it is now in the manga, I believe they are now
Well,
16.
girls as in at that age
They mature. Yeah,
they start to develop at very least. It's
yeah,
like they have breasts, they have more or less that curvy body. So you can
yeah. You
deal with
can,
that.
but
Well, hear me out with it
yeah,
though, because like, okay, so the mangaka for My Hero, he said in an interview that Yaoyorozu and Mina from the series, he used to use them to draw pinups, like the little sexy sort of pinup drawings that he did, and
Mhm.
everybody was freaking out, and they're saying that Yaoyorozu's costume is sexualized, which beyond debunked, and that drawing her sexy is bad. But at the same time, these same people will stan or be fans of, I don't know if you've ever heard of this anime called Utena Revolutionary Girl.
Holy
Like for
fuck!
whatever reason,
Let me check this out first.
yeah, it's Utena
Utana
Revolutionary. Mm-hmm.
fucking
Revolutionary Girl.
evolution.
It is one of the best like Yuri-ish anime I've ever seen in the '90s, come out the '90s.
Oh,
But like it's every SJW-esque show will have a reference to this in their series at some point in time. They consider that the staple for progressive media, and it's like these kids were in middle school having adult themes. Like the main character, the main pink-haired character, is literally like being seduced by the purple-haired girl Anthony's like older brother who's like way older than her. Mind you, she's in middle school. And then like even in the 80s and 90s, we would watch anime and like for example, one of the biggest examples I like to is like for whatever reason on Twitter, it was going around that Rumiko Takahashi is the staunch feminist because she didn't want Kagome's skirt to fly up in the anime. And it's like this is the same woman who made Ranma One Half. Literally a 15-year-old gender bending like guy who turns into a girl through water where there's just frontal nudity all the time and like teens being sexualized. It's like you were fine with it back in the day when we'd have like just sexy everything as far as teenagers is concerned. But now it's an issue because you're just discovering anime for the first time.
well,
Like,
here's the thing.
where's
It's a combination of two things. It's a combination of insecurity and it's a combination of attention.
Well, insecurity is a kind of strange thing just because, those people who complain about that, they, for example, they are 14, 15, 16 years old, right?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And they will, eventually just start to sexualize things just because they grew up. Their hormones are, running across their bodies. They just like every young person, it's like people have crushes, all that kind of stuff. And most of the times I see those people on the Tumblr just pairing characters. So it's like insecurity is a very strange thing. You just have to explain what you meaning by that. It's like insecurity.
It is mostly insecurity about their own bodies, basically.
Oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, it's mostly because, and I've dealt with most of these people too. When I talk to these people, most of these girls, they mostly say the same thing that oh my body, oh I can never look like that. Oh I can identify with this girl, but I can't identify with that body type, and it's like
Well, their anger is usually noted like the early 2000s concept of like how teenagers in the early 2000s there were magazines where it was the whole model fiasco where girls were seen as super thin, they had to be a certain size, and if you were like chubby or fat or anything above that norm, you were seen as ugly. Basically, they're kind of playing on that, but they also kind of use the excuse of in the manga, particularly with My Hero in the manga, the girls are kind of chubby and kind of short stacked as opposed to in the anime because all the anime there's a certain model that a lot of the animators use in order to save time from having to like start from scratch, and they have this like slim frame, standard just very thin anime girl aesthetic, and they usually have like really bigger boobs and stuff like that, so they're talking about,
oh
oh,
my.
this is just misogyny sort of thing like that, and it's like they can't do a model of a bigger, heavy set girl like in the manga or things like that. And it's like,
I remember the controversy. They listen. One Piece has this controversy daily. Don't get me started.
my thing is,
Yeah, if you
my thing is with One Piece is like Oda does it purposely, but my thing is like they claim that that's the only body type in One Piece when it's not. Like there are women in One Piece, like Lin's like the obvious example. Big Mom, she's literally a behemoth, but she's scoring more men than a whole country. And then they have regular body types like Mariko from not Locktown, from the East Blue, where Luffy grew up, but she has just a standard body type. She doesn't have any extra like features. It's only the sexy characters who have like the super thin waist, the pencil waist, and like the big boobs.
this is
But
pretty
for
much.
whatever reason, they want to complain.
I want you guys to take a look at the the general chat. This is basically one of the main characters, Nami, and this is what she looks
Mhm.
like.
Well, she looks fine.
Yeah, but
It's like she's too thin for my
yeah,
for my
but
taste.
here's the thing. That's stylization right there.
Hmm.
That's and I don't understand. It's like most of the guys, most of the men in One Piece are usually like very muscular. You know,
Hmm.
very
Like they look super sexy and jacked. Like,
Oh, okay, but
I will never get why
well, I
people
mean, as
just.
far as eye candy, well, that's my thing. Is like they complain that One Piece is about eye candy for the women and like, I mean, eye candy for the men and stuff like that, and that they don't have realistic proportions and stuff. But I'm like, One Piece is one of those anime where, they even out the fan service. Like
well,
the girls look the way they look, and then they have a literal collection for the guys for the female fan service for the
well,
guys,
that's
where they have like,
well, yeah, that's pretty much unintentional because it's like most of the. I remember the fairy tale author like the main audience for that show is for mostly for guys, but they unintentionally make the series more popular with women. You know,
well, that was due to like pairings and yaoi and stuff like that. I'm talking about in One Piece where they literally campaign like collections dedicated to the female fans. Like it's not like Fairy Tail doesn't have a naked collection for like the male characters like and female
okay.
characters. Like
I gotta see
yeah,
what
like
I gotta see what that's all about because I never even seen that.
like there's literally last year's calendar for One Piece. There was literally a One Piece calendar for the sexy sort of calendar for the girls in One Piece. Then there was one for the guys, and then there's like statues of like there's so many like Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Lucci figures that are just like purely made fan service figurines. Like the One Piece like the One Piece markets with Grand Presto, they literally make their figures and their merchandise and all of their stuff to cater to both male and female audiences. Like they make the character sexy to it for whoever wants to appeal to whoever.
I
But
will
that's my
never
thing.
get
Is like
why people
that's
are
the
just so excited about this sexuality is just because,
Well, it's
for
not
example,
it's not the
my
yeah.
my ex-wife likes not that so those this blonde evil guy from the JoJo,
DL Brando.
uh
Dio.
Deo
Ooh,
Brando, yeah, right. She just likes that
never got.
like character. She likes how he looks. It's
Mm-hmm.
like she's a baddie. It's like, come on, bitch. We have Billy Harrington
Wow.
here. Like,
Oh my
Billy is
goodness.
one guy for us. He's the only one. It's like you just. What's the taste? What's the taste? I just can't understand that.
Well, I think with females in particular, as far as the fan service goes, like I honestly think Dio's an overrated JoJo character as far as like aesthetic and looks. Like maybe in the beginning he was alright, but then after a while it just got like, it's not that great. Like I think it's just the whole ambience of the bad boy. Like I'm somebody who loves male villain characters are like that is it. That is for me. Like that is my bread and butter. But at the same time, it's like it's mostly because they look good and they usually have this ambience of this ambiguity to their like sexuality. They're on the line between beautiful but still masculine. It's a whole dynamic with women. We look for like we look at the surface, but then we kind of look at the deeper of how their characters work. So that's kind of what
Yeah,
makes it
most men are just surface level.
sexy.
Yeah, most men are
Well,
just
it's
surface
Yeah,
like
they
level.
just like
ha-
Most men are surface level.
have you seen the Witcher series that are coming up? That
yes.
came up. It's like just before that, I traveled across my country to my ex just to visit her,
Hmm.
and it's like a very long ride here.
Hmm.
And I read first two books of original Witcher series.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Last Wish, and I don't remember the second one. And it's like when I started watching and I read a lot of Wikipedia about the characters. It's
Hmm.
like we have a website, a semi-official site of Andrei Sapkowski. That there's a lot of information about the characters, their analysis, and all that stuff. And I
Hmm.
people like Ciri, for example, in the books.
Hmm.
And when the game came out, she looked very nice. It's like the company tried their best to sexualize her not in a slutty way, like she has a big boobs, big butt, and all that stuff. But she looks
Hmm.
very nice. She very
Hmm.
good looking person, and they did a very good job in Witcher series that came up just no right now, right? And
Hmm.
I just don't understand that fuzz about it, just because in the books she's just a, a fucking evil bitch who try to. It's like, don't get me wrong, I like women, right? I'm not I'm not using
Yeah.
this word just so easily. She just she became a very evil person. She just can easily cut someone without any hesitation, without a second thought. People like that. People adore that. And people just dislike the CD Projekt just because they make that character, she likable person in a game. She very likable person. In a series of that recently came out, she's pretty much okay too in her personality, right? But in the books,
Hmm.
she just a vile creature. She just not likable at all, and people still like her,
Yep.
sexualize her, and I just don't get that. The same thing comes with a lot of characters. They either just outright bad,
Hmm.
they have a lot of plot holes in their stories, or they are just psychopaths that I just don't think how
Well,
normally a person would like them.
here's the thing.
Yep.
Sexuality is mostly a primal thing. That's just all it is. It's like it doesn't discriminate against, it
Well,
doesn't
I'm not
discriminate.
looking. I'm not saying that you can like how someone looks like, right? I'm not telling that. I'm talking about this justification of that. Oh, this character has a very nice personality, but if you look at it, it's just there's none.
Well,
There's none.
like I said,
Well,
it's
for
like,
example,
yeah. Well, go ahead.
well, for example, like certain villains, when it comes to like my attraction to like certain villains, like for example, like there's one spectrum where it's like Dio Brando, Shigaraki from My Hero, where they're basically just evil. There's no return. They're like at this point, it's like there's no rhyme or reason. They're so far gone. It's like, nah, we ain't about that. But then there's like villains who like they're villains because they legitimately have something to fight for, and the good side isn't getting it done. Like like Griffith, for example, like the whole Griffith did nothing wrong sort of thing. I don't believe that necessarily, but like I understand why Griffith became the ascension that he did, and he sacrificed the way because of circumstances that were situational irony, and how his whole life was basically like, nah, like there are certain motivations that you can find attractive and things like that. And I think
Well,
women see that, and then there's
he's
like the
too
mindless
selfish,
people.
in my opinion. It's just
Oh yes, because he's based on um Rio from Devilman, who was beyond selfish. Like, so yes, I understand that, but at the same time, I can understand the justification there, where it's like a villain speaking like actual truths that you kind of don't want to admit out in the open, but you low key agree with them in certain aspects.
for example, I know two characters from Star Wars expanded universe, right? There is a
Hmm.
character called Darth Revan. It's like
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that
he's
too.
a Jedi who just uh, joined the war when the galaxy needed them, just to protect people in the galaxy, Republicans, and he and his fellow Jedi's who disobeyed the Jedi Council's order just to
Hmm.
keep out from it. They just became dark Jedi's, and he just fell into dark side. It's like he has a very complex story arc in games and
Hmm.
books, in the comics, and I can understand why people love him just because he's a typical protagonist in the game, anti-hero. Anti-heroes are usually very good written,
Hmm.
and I don't understand why people love so much, for example, Darth Talon. It's like she's she's obviously sexual.
Hmm.
It's like no doubt about that. She's a very good body that
Hmm.
artists artists tried. They
Hmm.
did their job, but she has no personality. Basically, she's just a blank
Yep.
slave of the Sith that will follow her master's orders and will die for it. It's like
Hmm.
I I've heard some justifications of that, but it's just sound to me very awkward. It's like, oh, she's willing to die for her master, but what kind of relationships there? It's like
Hmm.
she's not power hungry. She's just a husk. She's not ready to kill her master and become the prime Sith. She's not doing that. She's just um, a Padawan forever,
Yeah.
apprentice forever. And it's like there is no double layer double bottom into that.
Hmm.
I'm talking about this kind of characters, not about complex characters who has personality, who has a
Ah.
lot of
Ah.
lore, who has beauty, of course. It's okay. I understand why these people have attraction to the character. I just thought there's a justification of that. That's what
Oh.
I'm
Well,
talking.
sometimes there's no justification for it. It's love is attraction is a very complicated thing to figure out. It's like we're still trying to figure that out to this very day. So it's
Well, you want to fuck something. It's like it comes to your mind when
yeah,
you have sexual fantasies. It's okay.
yeah.
It's like people has have different tastes, but when people try to justify that when they're arguing with somebody,
There's definitely a dissonance when it comes to that. Definitely.
yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's like it's not a deal of I like the theme of that character.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like Dio Brandi. Yeah, did I put it right? Right. Uh,
Hmm.
he's that evil guy. He was beaten by his father when he was a child, and when he was invited to the Jojo's family, he just
Hmm.
felt jealous and he just wanted to bully him and all that thing. It's okay. I understand that, but i- is it? It's like it's all that this character has to offer to you that you feel so attracted to this. It's like,
Well,
should it
yes and
say
no.
about the person who liked that something to us?
Well, maybe that person is equally as flawed as the character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of people like characters because they can relate to a certain degree
Yeah.
to the character.
It's all about
Like,
relatability. And
yeah.
that might be a sign of just good writing. If you can relate to the character in certain ways, then that means that you might have done some good writing. Because bad writing will ultimately mean that you can't relate to any of the characters.
Well, sometimes the gachi memes are feels like that they have more writing to that into or than some animes characters. It's like
Mhm.
I just don't understand that attraction to those animes just because the characters are just flawed. It's like there's we have you have a 4chan, right? We
Mhm.
have a very similar board that is called Dvatch,
Mhm.
Mm.
and originally it came out just like a fortune, just a board to for anime fans to to shit post, and there's a bunch of memes characters that we have a word Baginia, the goddess,
Yeah.
people usually refer on this site refer to most of the times any female.
Mhm.
Just because this site is like fortune, there's a lot of virgins who can fall
Yeah.
Yeah.
fall easily to any woman, and we it's like people just discuss this stuff, and mainly people hate anime fans just because they just they just feel that they can be attracted to absolutely a shallow thing, even though they will hate the same characteristics in real people. So it's
Mhm.
like that's what
That
I
escapism.
want. Yeah, that's what I want to say. It's like they try to escape from one thing, but they come to almost the same thing.
Yeah, it's just the appealing factor that if somebody can write a character that normally we would hate in real life, like example Dio. Like Dio is the epitome of like a douche, just like a fuck. But like women, if he's written a certain way throughout the parts in the series, especially in Stone Ocean, to the point where like women can appeal to that. Like they appeal because every most I don't care what kind of woman, if she likes men, as far as I know, if she likes men, she's gonna have a bad boy complex at some point in her life, or like most women have that sort of
What's the
complex.
deal with the bad boy complex? I don't.
It's the mystery and the aura around like there's like we're taught like as women mostly most women are taught to like secure a husband who is strong, who takes care of you, but then there's always that element of ooh, he's mad, he's a bad boy, like I could go
Well,
places with
most
him, just the thrill.
most actually it's kind of the reverse for most men because most men are more attracted to the good girl complex. You know, that's why you see a whole lot
Mhm.
of moe anime with a lot of cute girls in it. That's why you see most of them get popular, especially with men.
Mhm.
Exactly. They
And
want
like that's why. Oh, continue. I'm sorry.
no, that's why you see most of these you see most artists right there trying to make a lot of these moe animes is because you know they want the woman to protect. You know they want to protect this thing that can is filled with all this purity and stuff. And
Mhm.
we view women as sorry the bearers of life, and we just wanted to protect that the symbol of purity within them. So that's why moe anime is so popular with men.
Mhm. And that's why in like female like like that is surrounded by like the female fan base and the fan service female. It's always there is an aspect of like kind of like cruelty and indifference. Like there's always that one character that's like that really bad cruelty and indifference to like the female
That's why
character
characters like Sasuke
romantic
Uchiha
interest.
has so many fangirls. Now I see.
Yeah, he was,
Sasuke.
and then the emo phase was really big too.
Yeah.
Which
Mhm.
character you said?
Sasuke Uchiha.
Sasuke's from Naruto. Yeah, he was like the rival of Naruto, Uzumaki from Naruto.
I just can get
Yeah.
Sasuke.
Or like Shishomaru from Inuyasha. Like women love
Mm,
Shishomaru from Inuyasha. Like I
Or
S-
he.
never understood.
Sasuke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Sasuke.
okay.
Yeah.
It's like we spell it differently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho.
We have
Yeah.
he usually referred as Sasuke
Yeah.
Mhm.
so I just got lost here. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
it's like I remember. No, yeah, I understand why girls relate to him, right? But
Mhm.
uh, it's like again, boys relate him just because he's cool dude. He's a mystery.
Yeah.
He's like he has a troubling past that he has a weight on his shoulders that he has to carry through his life. It's very
Mhm.
interesting theme around him. It's like a very tragic hero, but again, he just later on he just become a very femmed-like character, like very selfish and not
Hmm.
caring about the others. It's like I understand why people relate to that. At least his story was good written in a sense of Naruto.
Well, even in like I said, the character Shishomaru from Inuyasha, like he is like the most bratty character in the series. Like they're in the beginning, there's like no redeeming qualities about him except for the fact that he's like super hot. Like he's pretty much a villain in the first part of the series, and then eventually he like softens up. But it's like there's no appeal to his personality whatsoever. But women love him because he's the bad boy. He's a hot
He's
bad
so
boy.
cute, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the long flowing hair, and
At least men
he's
have a
just
reason.
freestanding.
At least men have a defined reason why they like female characters. At least we can put
Well,
it
that's
in
not
that
necessarily
reason.
true. Like, cause there'll be like
Because
characters like, and I've seen it, cause I've gone through it. Like, they're like when they like Dragon Ball Z fanboys is like probably the best example. Like,
I mean,
they'll get so mad when you ship like Vegeta and Goku together because they spend like most of the series together,
yeah,
and there's
well,
like some weird subtext jokes. But then they'll turn Android 18, a literal tomboy who's just like super badass, super chill. She doesn't dress sexy, she's just chill, and they'll turn her into like a bimbo, and it's like what?
well. Here's
Like
the thing: DBZ is that is a very very masculine series. Like Dragon Ball Z is bar none a series for men by men, and Android,
eh,
yeah, it is. Let's not kid ourselves. It is.
it's not
Well,
Dragon Ball.
if you know this series, just tell me. I just could not bear the art style. It's just
What, Dragon
I
Ball?
don't like that. Yeah, I just could not bear it. But is it worth at least trying to watch it?
Wait, you
Like,
never
Dragon
watched? Wait, you
Ball,
never
definitely.
you never watched Dragon Ball?
it's not popular in our country. I don't-
Wow.
It's
I
like
could see why.
it's like you must
Okay,
understand that.
so
For example, just for you to understand, it's like, for example, take Halo series. It was popular just because on your country, just because people were into console gaming as much as PC gaming, and it was only on Xbox 360, and we Russians, it's like we don't like the consoles too much. I have a PS4, and I always like to play PS3 when I was a guest in my friend's house. I played PS2, PS1, all kinds of consoles, but generally people don't like didn't have access to the console gaming just because it was too pricey,
Yeah.
and
mhm.
people were not familiar with the Halo series too much. It's like people played Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2 when it came with a shitty Vista port, and
Yeah.
people just PC players in Russia just became familiar with Halo when it came recently, the 3rd December of 2019. It's like
Yeah, I was
it's
gonna
a
say
big
I could see why.
it's a big revelation, and it's like some people watched Dragon Ball Zero, but most of the times people watched the Naruto series, just because it was more
Yeah.
popular in this region. And Russia is a very big country, so we have a lot of people. So a lot of people who did not watch the Dragon
Hmm.
Balls.
Yeah.
We just keep
Yeah,
typing
because
out.
Dragon Ball Z was mostly popular in the West because of the agreement between Cartoon Network, Turner, and
Fundamental.
Ted Turner
Yeah.
Industries and that whole thing with four kids and everything. And then in Mexican countries and the Philippines, it was really popular
Yeah, I
because
think
for
Mexico.
whatever reason,
Yeah, I think Mexico got
Mexico,
it first in the West.
yeah, Mexico or the South American countries got it first, and they were really into Dragon
Yeah, matter of fact, Dragon Ball is the main reason why. Well, pretty much the main catalyst of why anime is so popular around the world. Pretty much.
Isn't because Sailor Moon,
Well,
No.
Evangelion.
well,
Astro Boy was what set anime on the map in anime.
Yeah, but
Astro Boy was the most popular in the world.
It put it on the map, but Dragon Ball is what like it set it on fire. That and Sailor Moon. That's what lit the fuse.
Okay, it's a legend. I need to watch it. But what's
Yeah,
the
Dragon Ball I
thing?
watched. Dragon Ball Z.
You had to start with Dragon Ball first. Like it's called Dragon
Mhm.
Ball. That's
Mhm.
literally when the series start.
But what's the
Because
premise? Is because it's very feels it's like feels Shaman King to me, Shaman King, like they have power levels.
Well, here's the thing.
They look strange. What's the setting?
Well, here's the thing. Everything that you see in most shonen anime, you can thank to Dragon Ball.
No, that is false. That is false.
Well,
everything you see in Dragon Ball is literally a copy of Devilman. Devilman is what started the shonen genre. I hate when people say that. Like, I hate when people say that.
Well,
Just because
yeah.
Dragon Ball popularized the trope doesn't mean it was everything. They literally took everything. And even Dragon Ball took everything from the whole Journey to the West craze, because Ranma 1/2 actually started that. And then Dragon Ball just appropriated it. Toriyama just picked it up and it became popular. But like Dragon Ball is completely different from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Dragon Ball is more comedic, it's more comedic, it's more funny. And then Dragon Ball Z is a lot more darker
satirical.
And dramatic.
Yeah, it's very satirical. It's like the synopsis basically for Dragon Ball is that Goku comes on the planet Earth. He was supposed to be sent to kill and destroy humanity, but he literally gets 5-year-old dropped on his head, and he becomes like a chill.
He's sort of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sort of an idiot. Pretty much.
Yeah, like very much so. And so he's basically going around the country where he lives, which may or may not be a model of Hawaii mixed with China and Japan. Basically going around trying to find the Dragon Balls that Bulma is trying to get from him, because he has one already, and like she's trying to get it from him. And they're basically just going around meeting different characters and trying to gather all the Dragon Balls so that they can unlock the power of the Dragon Balls. And it's just a bunch of weird comedic sidesteps along the way. It's a lot of like social commentary that's super funny, like weird, like Adult Swim level jokes. Like it's really an enjoyable series. But then Dragon Ball Z just destroys all that.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is really mostly for what I have to say is this: Dragon Ball Z is what's, well, never mind. I'm just not gonna say it. But
Go ahead. You better defend your anime.
Yeah, what I have to say is this: Dragon Ball Z is what popularized, the goofy shonen series and kind of turned it into a more dramatic form. Yeah, it's like the difference between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z is start.
Well, I love the shows that they don't have they don't need to have a lot of action scenes in them, but I want I want the scenes to be a very heavyweighty. So
if you're gonna
like two characters, for example, they are fighting and they are fighting with not much in the way of pure strength, but
that's not
just
good.
because they have two absolutely different ideologies, and those ideologies that have reason for them for it. And I want this to see. Just I don't want to see a lot of action scenes.
Well, that's not Dragon Ball is the king of like over the top anime. I'm talking about over the top. I'm talking about characters that can literally destroy a planet in one like energy beam. That's Dragon Ball.
Well, Dragon Ball Z is just like, it's literally just a dick measuring contest of who can get the highest power attack. Like if you have intelligence and you savor your brain cells, you don't watch Dragon Ball for too long, or Dragon Ball Z, I'm sorry, for too long, because Like it's just the repetitive power up of like ki and energy, and then nobody ever dies for real.
Okay,
Like
okay. You know what? I'm gonna have to stop this Dragon Ball slander right here.
It just
no, I mean
it just
We're
I'm
sounds
trying
like
to give you some
Naruto.
space.
we're not gonna start this Dragon Ball slander right here. So
I don't want to
The
insult. I don't want to
bullshit.
insult Dragon Ball. Like I mean, it's one of those things where it's when. Okay, here's the way I'll say it because
okay.
it's it's not a bad anime. It's just one of those anime where you can't really think about the logic. Like it's just it's a feel good anime. It's like a chill anime. It's like Golden Boy for the shonen genre. Like you
But
don't really think about it. It's just kind of
Yeah, if you look in the general track right here, you'll understand that. Yeah, this is what the
oh
fights look like.
lord.
That's the only reason why they look beast. That's
Yeah, they
exactly.
look nice. They're just not of substance. My only thing. It's like if you're looking for a substance based fight, you're not gonna find it. in Dragon
the
Ball Z.
problem with I can take this from the Naruto perspective just because I haven't watched too many animes that
Hmm.
has something into it. For example, I like the Berserk.
Hmm.
Like I love dark fantasy style of animes that if character dies, it's like he did something to die. It's like not because just he
Well,
just needed to die
well,
for the sake of it.
Well,
well. If you want more dark psychological thriller anime, you can always watch say Psychopaths or anime like Ghost in the Shell or Serial Experiments.
Ghost in the Shell is a classic, right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I think you'll like. You said you like dark fantasy. Do you like mechish sort of dark fantasy? What does that
I just
mean?
can't imagine what is it about. It's like
It's
what do
called
you
Escaflowne, and
ask?
the Vision of Escaflowne.
How is it?
The Vision
I just typed it in general chat.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Esca. Mm-hmm.
It's an isekai, but it's the first isekai ever made before there was an isekai where one person
It
travels to
reminds
another
me
world.
of Final Fantasy for some reason.
Yeah.
Art style.
Yeah, it has that vibe.
And if you want, you can also watch Lot Loss of the Record of the Lot Loss. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's really good.
Record of
the Lot Loss.
Lost War?
No, the Lot Loss. Hold on.
Type it
Lotus.
in.
Record of Lotus War.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I think you'd like.
Oh, I've seen some takes from it. Oh, 1988. Cool. Well,
Hold on. This is
I'll
one
check
anime
this.
I need you to look at here.
It's like I remember when my ex-wife I asked her to show me a good animes. She showed me Akira.
Mhm.
We tried to watch Naruto, but it was too repetitive, and I just could not bear it. We watched some of free. It's like in English series. It's about the whole I don't know how to put it. Uh, in Russian seria, it's episode. In English, it's series. It's about the whole
Yeah.
thing. It's like I'm always mistakenly trying to speak this.
It's okay.
So we watched a few episodes of Ghost in the Shell. I like it, but I don't know why we didn't continue. And I remember we watched some very strange anime about the guy who does everything perfectly. And
Something Sakamoto.
Sakamoto-san? Yeah,
Sakamoto. Yeah,
Sakamoto-san.
yeah.
the last episode, I remember he and a few bullies got into the closet, and the door stuck, and they tried to escape it by creating the fire here, bonfire,
Hmm.
and they decided to side jump to cleanse the fire. It's
Mhm.
very strange anime.
Yeah,
We laughed hard as fuck, but I could not continue.
look.
It's just too much for me.
If you want a really dark fantasy type anime, I'm talking about really dark. It's
Hmm.
called Now Then Here and There.
Oh,
You
here.
yeah,
Mhm.
I see this. I see
yeah,
this.
you got to if you're an anime fan, you have to definitely watch that show.
That and Kingdom. Kingdom's pretty dark.
Yeah.
I like King. I love Kingdom. Kingdom's really
Yeah,
good.
I'm surprised that most anime fans haven't even heard of it. This is like holy shit. Like that's a classic right there.
What other one? There was another one I was thinking.
The most I have also a problem with the art style of animes, especially
Yeah,
Mhm.
the medieval ones that are sort of medieval. It's like it just feels too cartoonish. The
Mhm.
record of Lodoss War, it feels very good for as far as I can say.
yeah. Well, most '90s anime definitely do have a better budget.
Yeah,
It's
like
not it's not a matter of budget. It's a matter of
Like animation
the
style.
design,
stylization.
the stylization
Stylization.
design.
Yeah, it's something like Dirty Pair, for example.
You have to write it. I just can't, I
Oh
can't
yeah,
put it in my mind.
Dirt.
Like I said, if well, Devil. Okay, I'm recommending Devilman. Well, I'll
Uh,
recommend the original, not the original Devil.
Devil
I would
Mayhem.
never do that to anyone. Devilman, I recommend because if you like Berserk, Berserk is literally based off of that. So, and that's a classic. That's like Stone a guy.
Yeah,
It's like a
here's
classic. He made Dirty Pair too.
yeah, here's Dirty Pair right here.
Well, he helped make Dirty Pair.
It's definitely a show
Oh,
you need to watch. Oh, and also speaking of Dirty Pair, you should also watch Panty and Stalking with Garter Belt.
Oh god,
Yeah.
it's so unapologetic.
Definitely make these SJWs lose their mind. Yeah,
well,
It's
I googled
ironic
Doctor.
because one of the most it's ironic because one of the most SJW voice actors of today were in literally all three of them are were starred in that anime's dub.
Yeah.
Oh,
Monica Rial, what's her name? Jamie Marchi and Chris Sabat are all in that anime.
the thing with painting and stocking. I There's a cool story. I was talking with a girl, and I met a girl in 2009, I guess, and we became friends
Mm-hmm.
eventually. And she had the avatar of painting and has the same nickname. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot, it's like in 2018, I
Mm-hmm.
found a clip that was made by some guy in a 3D animation program. He made a clip with the sound with the music from this series that is named
Mm-hmm.
"Flying Away."
Fly away, yeah. The
And
angel change sequence, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and when I just decided to put one to one, and I would just my mind just blown away. It's like
Teddy
it's
Lloyd is
like
a god of
yeah,
electronic music.
yeah, it's like so good music from this show that was always, in the reach of the hand. I just could ask this person just what is this series? Yes, I need to watch it, but I haven't to this day. Just need the time.
You should. It's a very good. I recommend dub just to get the full effect because it's one of those are one of those animes that really
Yeah,
it's a
there's
really
only
good dub.
certain dub. There's a pretty much a lot of anime that pretty much the dubs definitely are well acted. Most
Like
definitely.
anything pre 2012 anime, the dub has been pretty solid.
Yeah,
If
especially
you
Really
say
good.
about Russian fan sub, it is not.
oh boy.
Oh man.
I remember watching the narrator Shippuden when there was a site torrentino.ru
hmm
.ru. It's like basically like pirate based site, and they were just a fan section of anime, just section for anime fans. They were discussing it. They were just showing what they've done with it, like dubbing, fan subbing, all kind of shit. And there were so many fun dubbers. Like they were 13 years old, 20 years old, and all kind of ages. And it just it they did not have experience with that,
Yeah.
with voice acting, with editing, and they have very shitty microphones back then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fucking sake. It's like
English fan subs were like that too.
I think we gotta count ourselves lucky right here. Cause holy shit. At least like North American dubbers, at least they have like professional equipment. All right,
well
guys.
for
You wanna pack it all in? You wanna call it for the night? I'll let you talk in the Discord if you want.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, guys. This is the end. This time. This is the end for real. I want to thank my guests for coming here. Didn't think I was gonna stay here an extra hour or two, but hey, that's what this podcast is for. So, yeah. So I wanna thank my guests for coming here. Middle Garbage and Nico, and we'll see you guys later. So goodbye. You guys are dismissed, and goodbye.
Bye.
Mhm.
Bye.
Okay.